So we'll start from the adaptive ligation.
Once again,
We will start from adaptive ligation.
we start from the tube that is at -20 that you can already take it here, although we will probably start in
It's a fast lecture.
the lecture will be, I don't know. I don't know, I mean, I didn't test myself, so it should probably have an hour or something like this, maybe longer, depends on the question and so on. So probably we will start the practical part, I don't know. But you can prefer.
So,
I don't know how to organize it. I need Professor also Gigi to help me. No, what is better to do? That because they have to do something.
Yeah. Sir, one time you can explain the library preparation part, then they can do and we will see that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Sir,
okay,
because
so prepare
many
yourself.
of them don't
Yeah.
know how to
step
prepare
by
library.
step. Sir, when you will see this.
Yeah, but you can already prepare in case.
Yeah, because after loading you can.
Yeah. Good idea. So prepare everything.
Sir,
So we need.
protocols.
What to do? Protocol. Protocol. And then the file will be left for you, and I will send all the material to Professor Gigi and blah blah blah, so you will be able to repeat everything, okay? Yeah. No, okay, I didn't know if it was better to start with the theory and then go to the practical part, but she already told me what to do.
First, sir, here you are loading, any time gap is there?
Second.
Whenever you are doing your processing,
Yeah.
any time gap is there?
Yeah, I know. That's why she said,
That time,
you talk,
Yes.
they work, and so when they work, you have to wait and keep talking.
Yes.
Okay, right? Yeah, so, yeah. So I would, yeah, we do something like this. In the morning, we should be able to sequence. Before lunch, we will have done everything, probably. And so in the afternoon, I will show you the result of the data analysis. The data analysis it will take a couple of hours, so we don't stay here waiting for the data analysis. Data analysis will run over the lunch time. They want the protocol, but first of all, I start to, when they are ready, actually I can also give you the protocol here, but then they want to see what you do.
Yes, sir.
So prepare the material, but do not do anything if I don't. So this is your protocol. Remember the 60 microliter, the 25 microliter of yes. Okay. When you are ready, you tell me, and I shift to the front of the protocol. Okay. So today I'm going to show you how we do perform sequencing for DNA barcoding. Consider that you use more or less the identical protocol, apart the first part for the PCR reaction with your own primer, to do whatever you want to do with Oxford Nanopore. Okay, it's a standard process. We start usually with the antigen generation by PCR with your own primer. So you design your own primer. and then we have to attach the barcode. So here it's confusing. We have DNA barcoding for species identification. We are loading more than one sample on the same flow cell. Now you will see the flow cell coming in a few minutes, okay? In order to sequence on this, that is the mini ion, okay? This is the sequencer, very big sequencer, okay? And in order to sequence more than one sample on the same flow cell, you need to add barcodes that allow you to identify the reads belonging to sample number 1, to sample number 2, and so on, okay? We should use the word indexing in order to avoid confusion with the DNA barcoding for the species. But because of the protocols that Oxford Nanopore released, they use the word barcoding, and I'm showing you pieces of the protocol, you will see this confusing barcoding word, okay? So when we perform barcode attachment, is that because we attach the index to the amplicons in order to identify the different samples, okay? And then there is the end prep, that is a fundamental process for Oxford Nanopore that we avoid. So we save time and we save money, okay? And then at the end, what is fundamental for the sequencing, that is the adapter ligation, and finally enough. Adapter ligation is you attach the protein that the helicase. You remember when we were talking about the helicase that is slowing down the DNA passing through the column?
Sir, excuse me, sir. What was that and prep and why we have skipped this step? Third one. And prep. Yeah, and prep.
The end prep is what we skip.
Yeah, why we skip and what is that?
Why do you ask the question at the beginning of the lecture and not at the end that I'm going to show you everything?
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to show you all the steps, okay? And also why we can avoid the end prep and what is the end prep, of course, okay? So we start with the general overview. Barcode, I'm not going to tell you what is the barcoding process, okay? So you know that you can do that with 16S. You can do that with CO1. If you work on fungi, you will do with the ITS. If you work on plants, you will do with something else. It's not important for me. Whatever you decide to use, okay, you are going to perform a PCR reaction with your own primer, okay? So the classical idea for Oxford Nanopore is that first of all, you produce your PCR product. And then you have to find a way to attach the barcode in order then to sequence after you have attached the protein. Okay, these are the adapters that were in the first slide. Okay, your first PCR, I forget about the end prep for the moment. We have to ligate the barcode, and then we will ligate the sequencing adapters with the motor protein. Okay, ligation of barcodes is what Oxford Nanopore suggests you. And ligation of barcode is doing something like this. So you have your different amplicons, and you attach the different barcodes in order to be able to distinguish. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, so, okay. Ready. Ready. Slow down a little bit.
Yes.
Huh? Okay, so this is the classical way. In order to do this, you have to buy this kit. This kit is expensive, okay? Few reactions inside. So for every barcode, here there are 24 different barcodes, so that means that you can sequence 24 samples all together, okay? By ligation, it takes time, it's expensive, we don't like it. Also because if you want to go to the jungle with this kit, it's problematic because you need enzymes that are not really stable at room temperature, okay? Now we decided to change, and here you find the sequence of the barcodes. I show you the sequence of the barcodes because then I will show you that we use our own barcodes, but it's not that we invent the sequences, we simply copy. They are available, and Oxford Nanopore is not happy that we use their sequences, but we save money, and so it's a good thing, okay? There is also the link where you can click and download the entire protocol if you want to see it, okay? And if you cannot get into it because it's asking for a user ID, a password, and it's not Professor Gigi who downloaded it, just write to me and I will send it to you, okay? Then there is another procedure that is based on PCR. So instead of ligating the adapters with the ligase, you can amplify your amplicons with primers that are carrying different barcodes. Okay, so you do the same by PCR instead of doing by ligation. So the idea is that you design your primer, CO1, whatever, okay, but you have to add a tail. This tail is a universal sequence that we use in order to perform the barcoding. So the idea is that you first perform your PCR reaction and you get this amplicon. This amplicon is sample specific from here to there, actually apart from the first part that is the primer. And then there is this extra sequence that has been incorporated in your amplicon. This extra sequence is identical for all the samples, okay? At this point you are having your own independent amplification for your own independent sample. But all the samples will carry the same sequence at the two sides. In this way, it will be possible then to perform a PCR reaction, second PCR reaction, with our primers that are carrying the barcode. So, one PCR reaction per sample with a different barcode. In this way, at the end of the, these are the barcodes, but I get back to them. At the end, you get something like this, second PCR. In this case, you attach the barcode by PCR, so instead of having a ligation reaction, you have another PCR, okay? The enzyme is stable at room temperature, so no problem to carry this in the jungle. These are the sequences of the adapters. I don't know if you can really see there. Anyway, there is this that is the identical sequence of the first part that you attach to the first primer. So the CO1, for instance, plus that tail, this is the tail. So this is the region that is recognized during the second PCR reaction. And then you attach this part that is, this blue are recognized by oxonanopore as the sequences, and oxonanopore starts reading the sequence in between these two blue parts and knows that this is your barcode that allow you to split the different reads into different bins in order to collect the different sequences, okay? Here there is something that's say phosphorylated, but I'll tell you later why. So at the end you have something like this. If you buy the kit from Oxford Nanopore, these are the costs, okay? There is the barcoding 112, then there is a barcoding 1324, or you can go and have up to 96 barcodes. So this is fundamental, because you know, you will see when we will see the cost of the reaction, that the majority of the cost is the library preparation. So when you add the motor protein, that costs about $100. $100 if you run a sample, it's one sample, $100. If you run 96 samples, it's $1 per sample. It's much different the cost, okay? So anyway, we don't like them. We don't like them because they force you to perform this and prep that we will skip. This is the part that we skip, that is. When you have a piece of DNA or a PCR reaction, Oxford Nanopore asks you, first of all, to add the phosphate. This is your amplicon. Okay. First of all, it asks you to add a phosphate at the 5' end, and then to add the extra A at the 3' end. Okay. This extra A, if I have the picture, oh, I forgot the picture. I don't know where I put the picture. Maybe here. Let me see. Yeah. So. This extra A, it has been used many years ago because it's helping you during ligation, because if you ligate another piece of DNA and the other piece of DNA has an extra T, the ligation is much more efficient, okay? So it facilitates the binding or the ligation of the adapters with the motor protein that are required for sequencing, okay? So this part is expensive. We avoid this by using primers which are already phosphorylated or barcodes which are already phosphorylated. So that's why here we write phosphorylated barcode. Usually when you buy a primer, the primer is not phosphorylated on the 5' end. But why you have to buy an enzyme, a terminal transferase, then to add the phosphate? And to carry on a reaction that is expensive with an enzyme that can degrade it. Simply, when you buy the oligo, buy the oligo already phosphorylated. Then the reaction for barcoding, the PCR reaction that is adding this barcode, is done with an enzyme that is already leaving the A protrusion. This is an activity of Taq polymerase, okay? And you will see that the original protocol wants you to use an enzyme that is a long amp Taq. So we checked, and there is already the A there. So this part is totally useless, okay? So in our protocol, so we will go directly. We will skip the end prep, that is adding the extra A and the phosphate, and we will go directly to the adapter ligation for the sequencing. Okay. Now the cost, I get back to them. Today I decided that we didn't have the time to the second PCR. So what they are going to use is already a pool of 12 amplicons that have been already barcoded by PCR. But this is something that you can repeat even in these days. Also because I'm leaving you, Professor Gigi, some CO1 with the tail, and also 12 barcodes for PCR. So when you see the PCR product at the end of the second PCR, you are exactly at the point where I'm starting today. Okay? Okay, it's not that you really see the entire protocol from the beginning to the end in a directional way, but in any case you can carry out all the protocols, okay? So what they do is simply they start from, so you are ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we go directly. Here, then there are all the protocols to produce the first amplicon and the second amplicon. Can I skip them for a moment and say that we already finished the PCR reaction? We already quantify the DNA after the second PCR reaction with the kits that I will show you, also because we will use them for quantification and blah, blah, blah. And we are going directly to the adapter ligation, okay? We have the amplicon. First PCR. Perform the second PCR for the barcoding, clean up the DNA, quantify, put together 1 microgram of DNA in these 60 microliters. So those 60 microliters contains more or less 90 nanograms for each of the 12 samples that I put together. There are snails, ants, and something, yeah, so that's, I came from Italy with this. Yesterday, we also tried by taking the 12 independent PCR barcoding. I had the product also, and we mixed all together, and we sequenced, so it's exactly the same thing. Now, what we have to do here is to go simply to the reaction where we have to attach the adapter. And so for this we need ligation buffer, we need T4 DNA ligase. This is your ingredient for cooking, okay? This is your enzyme. And then you need the adapter mix. The adapter mix, we don't know what there is inside. This is a secret from Oxo Nanopore. Unfortunately, this is the only step I cannot produce by myself, by producing the reagent, because I don't know what there is inside. I don't know what kind of protein is conjugated with what kind of piece of DNA. But it's a very simple reaction. They put everything together and then they incubate 10 minutes at room temperature. After this, and immediately after 10 minutes when we have done this, we will have to clean up the DNA, removing the salts and the enzyme and the protein that has not bound to the DNA. Okay? So this is 1 microgram of DNA, and what he's going to do is now to take this is the ligase.
No, second. DNA sample. First.
DNA sample.
Yes.
It was this one, the 60 microliter?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Okay, so he's taking the 60 microliter, and in this reaction, it's a very simple reaction. It makes a DNA with a buffer. What is important? It's important that you know what is the fuel for the ligase, what the ligase needs in order to work. Huh? What the ligase needs in order to work. We said for restriction enzyme, for nucleases and so on, that the fuel is magnesium, right? If you remove the magnesium, the enzymes are not going to work. In this case, for the ligase, the fuel is ATP. So here, it's important that you consider that ATP is not really stable at room temperature. It gets degraded quite quickly. That's why I came from Italy with this. Okay, this is all that I needed. Something that was keeping me this cold, not really cold, for a couple of days. You know, in Delhi, I asked at the hotel to keep this at -20, and they said yes, sir. And then the next day, no, after 36 hours, when they gave it back to me, it was warm. So the -20 probably, yeah, so they had this strange -20, so it was, but you see, in any case, it has been almost 1 day of traveling from Italy, and then 36 hours or 50 hours in Delhi, and nothing happened. Yesterday it was working perfectly. So, be careful, because it's not really stable, but feel relaxed, because in any case, it's not really so easily degraded. Everyone looking at you. Are you nervous? I told you. Yeah, good. Yeah. Yes, they are very good, because they learn very, very easily and very fast. Yeah, so this way. Never pour the liquid in a tube. Always keep the tube in your hands so you can see what you are dropping. Otherwise, you never know what you are doing. Okay, so this reaction will go on for 10 minutes. Can I go back? Yes? So, let's see the entire protocol in the meantime. And let's see also the cost first. We have time. Lastly, I asked my group to send me a couple of slides reporting the cost for the sample. You see, yesterday we sequenced with a flow cell that I brought from Italy that was not new. It was already used. Okay, cleaned it up, and it was a very old flow cell, but it worked perfectly. And today we are going to sequence on the same flow cell. Okay, we keep using and reusing. Just to make things simple, we're going to tell you, let's say that you decide to reuse the flow cell 4 times. That, in my opinion, is a minimum. You may even reuse it 10 times. Okay, but let's say, we say 4 times. If you see that the cost of the library is always the same if you process 12, 1, 24, or 96 samples. So the cost of the library is this. Then you have to consider the cost for barcoding, and then the cost for the NCLEP that we are saving, right? And the cost of the flow cell. The cost of the flow cell is 4 times this. because here I'm considering to reusing the flow cell for time, so I divided the cost of the flow cell for time. If you consider that you will reuse the flow cell for time, you are crazy if you run only 4 times 12 samples, okay? Consider that one sample will cost you $48. If you are running a single sample, you are going to spend $500. And then if you run a single sample once, so you are not going to reuse the flow cell, you are going to spend 4 times this. It's crazy, okay? You have to consider that if you want to run a few samples, you don't have to use this flow cell, you have to use the Flongo. That is a smaller flow cell that I forgot to show you that costs $90 and that I will find in the afternoon. No, the Flongo I don't have it, it's a smaller one. Because anyway, when you have a flow cell here, yeah, go ahead and take a look at that, please. Okay, so you see that if you optimize and go to 96 samples and you don't make any mistake, you will spend more than $20 per sample. And you will say, oh, the Sanger is less expensive, okay? But if instead of following the classical protocol that Oxford Nanopore wants you to follow, you follow our protocol, this is what you are going to spend per sample. This, if you reuse the flow cell 4 times. But if you reuse the flow cell more than 4 times, the cost is even lower than this, okay? So it's really comparable or even lower than what you spend with the Sanger. But you do everything in-house and you learn how to do this kind of things. Oh, thank you. This is yeah, so this one, we are not going to use it. If you can keep it at 4 degrees, I would very much appreciate it. Although they are stable at room temperature everywhere. So this is a flow cell that we are going to use today. And the flow cell is very much expensive because there is a lot of electronics here. If you see, then you will come and see when we will run this flow cell, but below there is electronics, okay? And this electronics part is expensive. So they are trying to develop a flow cell that is having a single electronic and you replace just the nanopore that are this yellow part, okay? Then you will come and see, okay? That is much cheaper because you don't throw away the electronics all the time. And with that costs $90, you can clearly perform at least the 24 sample analysis. So the cost of the flow cell, even if you decide to perform only 24 samples with the Flongo, that is affordable, the cost goes, reduce this twice, the cost is, what is? Nothing. I mean, it will be also that in the order of $3, $4, $5. I don't know. So you see, it's a very much cheap. This is the cost, the cumulative cost. These are our phosphorylated barcodes that we use in order to avoid this reaction that you see is quite expensive. Okay, so we save it by simply using phosphorylated primer. That's all. It's so nice to know what the ingredients do. Anyway, the classical protocol expect you to use this consumable that we are using. The ligation sequencing kit, that is what he's using now to ligate the adapter to the, you are incubating now the 10 minutes?
Yes, sir. It's in 4 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. So
going on.
after that you clean up, right?
Yes.
And are you already, you didn't, you need to stabilize them at room temperature. So these are the beads. And then you need the buffer. Then, yeah, the buffer. Okay. I have 4 more minutes.
No,
Yeah?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. The ligation, the phosphorylated barcode that I had, then the long gum that are the enzyme that is required for the PCR reaction for the barcode. And then the impure beads that are these for the DNA purification, that you will see them in action in a few seconds, and then the mini-ion flow cell. That's all you need. This is the impure. Now we are at the point, then I go back to that when the reaction is running. So we said barcoding was done, DNA was purified, the end prep, we skip it. We started the adapter ligation. We have performed this reaction, put together the DNA sample with the 12 sample ligation buffer, the ligase, and the adapter mixed with the protein. Okay? 10 minutes at room temperature. And then we have to clean up the DNA, final and pure cleanup before sequencing. I said we have to remove all the protein that is not ligated, all the salt, and blah, blah, blah. And to do that, we use, this is the same reaction, this is the original protocol from Oxford Nanopore. When you see these colors, it's the original one. And now we perform, sorry, because, you know, I keep working on these protocols. That is, now we use the impure cleanup. You could perform ethanol precipitation of your DNA, but here we don't want to lose anything and we want a super purification. So we use this, when you are ready, keep it mixing. We use these beads. These beads bind the DNA, okay? So you put the beads together with your DNA, and then since they are magnetic, we use this magnet in order to have, and you will come and see, you will see that all the beads go close to the tube where the magnet is, and so you can remove all the liquid that the beads don't move. They stay stuck close to this, okay? You have to yeah, very well, okay? And then we can wash them and we can recover the DNA. These beads are very much popular. So, yeah, you see here the magnet, and you see that the liquid is now transparent, if you can see from the air. And there is a kind of red part here that are the beads accumulated in front of the magnet, okay? So the beads are very much used, popular, because they allow you to purify, to perform a site selection of your DNA. You can decide that you want to keep only very high molecular weight DNA, or you want to keep also very low molecular weight DNA. So when you want to remove, for instance, the primer from the PCR reaction, after the PCR reaction, they work very well. Depending on the amount of buffer that you use, you can, and the amount of beads that you use that are in a liquid, you are able to bind DNA that is of higher or lower molecular weight, okay? Also, this slide is staying with you. I will leave you a lot of impure, and so you can play. I cannot leave you the magnet, but find any magnet, and you will see immediately the beads going close to the magnet, okay? He will use the magnet for purification. Sorry. And this is the protocol. The protocol say, resuspend the impure beads by vortexing. The vortex that we have here, did you already take them? So the vortex is, okay, so that's fine. So you do something like this, you keep moving that, you do not need the vortex. It's not over, the 10 minutes?
3 minutes.
3 minutes remaining.
2 minutes, 2 minutes.
Sir, how much amount?
How much?
How much amount I have to take up?
At 40. Okay, so what he's going to do, well, you see, I just asked, so he's going to take 40 microliter of impure, adding them to the DNA. Then incubate on a Eula mixer for 5 minutes at room temperature. You leave them on the bench, and once or twice in the 5 minutes, you mix a little bit because they tend to precipitate, okay? And you don't need a Eula mixer to keep the bees in suspension. And then it says spin down the sample and pellet on the magnet. We tried yesterday to spin down, it's useless. So we simply put it close to the magnet. When he has done it, we will have the opportunity to pass to all of you the tube so you can see. And then at that point we will be able to remove the liquid and to replace the liquid with a buffer. Okay, usually we wash with ethanol 80%. It's fantastic. Okay, so we wash. But in this case, we cannot do that. This is the only case where you cannot wash the beads with ethanol because there is a protein, there is a motor protein, and we cannot destroy the motor protein with the ethanol. So in this case, we have to use the buffer that is provided when you want to recover very short fragments. So we don't know exactly the composition of this buffer, but we know that all the basic of this technology, the basic of this technology is polyethylene glycol, PEG. PEG is it's a molecule that is occupying the environment and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, it's not so.
Spin.
No. 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 The protocol says now 5 minutes at room temperature. Is this one? Okay, so these are the 60 microliter. Oh, okay, you pass through it once in a while. Do something like this, please. So you have the Ula mixer, okay? So you see, then you will see that those beads will go very close to the magnet. Huh? You are calculating the 5 minutes?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
4 minutes left. 4 minutes left.
4 minutes. Yeah, you see, it's very simple. That is nothing special. So we are cooking very simple food, but very good. Spin because some of you maybe turn red, but otherwise you don't really use it. We need to okay, so you put here with the other turn in order to be able to, no, the opening is from here, yeah, so here. We are here now, we wait a few seconds and then we pass to you so you can see. In any case, nothing is going to happen to this liquid, okay? So it's nice to see this step. Yes, okay, you can, then the first, in order to save some time, you will still see some red, but you see that also beads are going close to the, yeah, you see? Yeah, so this is the magnet, you see that all the beads are going to the magnet, right? At this point, the DNA is trapped by the beads, and so the DNA is very close to the wall where the magnet is, and at this point it's very easy to remove the liquid. this is really the best way to purify DNA. At the end, it's money well spent. We use a lot of impure beads. Be patient, your tube is coming back.
So after base calling, we'll get the whole sequence. After base calling, we'll get the whole sequence.
After base calling, you get the FASTQ file. At this point, we start our own pipeline that is processing the FASTQ files in order to produce the consensus sequence. That is a pipeline that we are going to rewrite in the next couple of months, because now that the base calling has changed, it's possible to improve even more the quality of the sequence that is coming out, that is already 100%, but I would like to take advantage of the better quality of the last chemistry. So.
We get thing like this one transparent. So sir, in this PCR cleanup, so can we, I mean, this bead cleanup, right? So can we perform for this PCR cleanup during single sequencing, for the single sequencing?
Yes, absolutely. Then you will see that, okay, this is for you. You're seeing it, yeah. I'm sorry because you're there. So
No, sir, it's fine. I have already.
you will see now when he now has to, well, if you want to see removing the liquid, it's very easy because you go inside, don't go against the beads, and go stay away from the beads and remove the liquid and the DNA stays here, okay? Then he will add some the short fragment buffer instead of the 80% ethanol because there is this protein, okay? If you have this long fragment and short fragment buffer is used only when you want to define a different separation step, like I was showing you, to remove short fragment, you use the long fragment buffer that is removing everything. We have to wash twice. Actually, once should be also enough, but let's say no, man. No, sorry. Why you remove from here? It's washing?
No,
I'm sorry.
I didn't.
Discarding. Discarding.
supernatant, sir.
No,
He's
no,
discarding.
you cannot discard. You have to discard by keeping the tube here.
Sorry?
Oh, still
I
everything?
didn't discuss.
He
Just
will
keep
discard,
it,
sir.
keep it.
I didn't discuss.
Just keep it there.
Some is already being removed. No, this is the advantage that you keep this. Well,
Yeah,
because
because
yesterday I was
that's
doing.
the parts,
Yesterday I was doing it this part because I didn't feel confident, and so it's not his fault. It's my fault that I was not following him
No
properly.
transfer, no part of that.
You keep this on the magnet and you remove the liquid. So the magnet is needed in order not to throw away the beads. Otherwise you throw away.
I think everything is there.
नहीं वो मैग्नेट से निकल जाएगा ना मैग्नेट जो है ना बीच वहाँ पे आता है फिर निकालो तो निकल जाएगा ना बाहर
Yeah, you can go.
फिर हम बाहर
Simply go to the bottom. Go to the bottom and yeah. Okay, perfect. Throw it away. Now add 250 or 200. Doesn't matter, 200, 250. It's like how much salt to put. That's enough. That is never a real. So 200. Let's change the protocol so they see that it's working. 200. And it's much better to work with the gloves, sterile environment, so no open windows, so no air is moving, and autoclave tips, okay? In Mongolia, in the Gobi Desert, we were working, the wind was very strong, tip everywhere, no gloves, and the sterile tip that we were using like this, putting on the pipette and go on. So you see, nothing happened. You can use this tip, nothing happened. It's not the perfect thing, but once again, it's like cooking, okay? So you should slice things and then wash the knife. You know that if you are cutting, you don't wash the knife all the time and these kind of things, okay? It's exactly the same thing. It's better that you learn the right procedure. When you learn the right procedure, then you can have this shortcut. But always remember the right procedure, okay? But yesterday they were looking at me. They didn't say anything, but they were looking at me without the gloves, taking the stick and putting on the pipette and using it. Oh, no. So now you have to, yeah, so. These beads are sometimes, especially if there is a lot of DNA, sometimes difficult to get back in suspension. In this case, you go close to them with the tip and you pour the liquid on the top of the beads in order to remove them. Although this gentle shaking is always the best thing. Then now, because this is washing, we really don't need to wait for the beads to bind the DNA. The beads are already bound the DNA, so we simply now have to let them go close to the magnet, wash for the second time, and when we wash the second time, we have to now make sure to remove all the liquid, because this buffer is allowing, in any case, the DNA to stay bound to the beads. Then we will have to add a elution buffer in order to release the DNA from the beads. And so we have to remove all the residue of the buffer that is inside now. So after the second wash, we will spin in order to get all the liquid down, and we will remove the few microliters left. And then it will be over. When we reach this point, the DNA is ready to go. We will start mounting the flow cell, and we will start preparing for sequencing. In the meantime, he has to wash. So wash the second time. So you remove the liquid. You can do it. Yeah, go on. You wash for the second time. In the meantime, I go back to the original protocol. We see it from the beginning. This protocol is in order to do everything. Okay, so you start from here, you go to the jungle, and you start with your first PCR. Your first PCR that you can also perform here on the DNA that you have extracted these days. It's your CO1 primer with this extra tail. Okay, I have the sequence of my primer here, the classical CO1 with this specific tail. If you have the PCR product already, and you can even start from a small amount of your PCR product. If you already have the band, you simply re-amplify your band with this primer in order to get the tail. Then, for the PCR, anyway, so then I will give you will have, can you then give him the start procedure. So this is the sequence of our CO1, that is probably the same sequence of your CO1 with this extra tail, okay? So the red region is also nanopore specific tail. Then you perform your PCR. These are the protocols that we are using. You already, no, did you wash the second time? Twice?
नहीं एक बार ही किया ना.
Twice.
Yeah, one time did it.
Yes, so
Listen.
you don't need this, that you can do that here, because in any case you don't have to. So,
We all note down that PCR conditions, no?
no, what is this?
Here only you have to play.
Yeah, short time.
Extra your sample, especially your ambient temperature.
Yeah, I'm more nervous than you are, you know? Yeah, I mean, I understand the pressure. He's here in front of 20 people doing something he's never done, and he cannot fail because I'm looking at him. So, this is our cycle. Then you use your own cycle. Also here, the cycle depends on the PCR machine. Okay? We like very simple PCR machine. If you know how a PCR machine is done, then I would like to show you a slide of the PCR machine that we use. And you know, it's very much important that you know where the sensor for the temperature is. That is in which position of the block. Because it's not because it says 75 degrees, it's 75 degrees. Depends on the instrument, okay? It's like the oven. In Italy we use the oven a lot. And you know, when you change the oven, it's not that the same recipe is working exactly the same way. You have to learn your new oven, okay? And so you have to learn your PCR machine. Every PCR machine is different, okay? This is a classical, anyway, protocol. Remember, I told you we use the NTPs and primers in TE. So there is a DTA inside. But in this case, you see the amount of Hercules buffer, it contains 2 millimolar of magnesium, so it's not a problem if we remove a little bit of magnesium. Yes, very good, okay? Then, at the end of the PCR reaction, also nanopore tell you, purify with the impure your PCR product, and then quantify in order to proceed with the second amplification for the barcoding, okay? We are chef. We don't care. We skip everything, okay? We simply take 10 microliters of the first PCR and we go on. So now we see the original protocol says that you should, at the end of your PCR reaction, perform an impure cleanup. Okay, so all this long procedure in order to remove the salt, to remove the primers, unbound primers, and so on. Okay, this is the same slide. With this, exactly the same protocol. The difference is that with the plate and the magnetic stand, wash the beads with 200 microliter of ethanol. Okay, so we are not using this because we have the protein here. Then after the impure cleanup, you should resuspend your PCR product in 27 microliter and quantify your DNA. With this, the qubit, I'm not going to spend time now here because we are going to do it later, because then for sequencing we need to see how much DNA we have left. Okay, although like cooking, if you know that if you do that every day, you don't even quantify, you simply start boiling and that's all. Okay, but this procedure will be explained later. At this point you should start with the second amplification, that is the one for barcode. Oxford Nanopore tell you, take 100, 200 femtomoles of particles. Oh my God, 200 femtomoles. How do I calculate the femtomoles? It's complicated, okay? And then go on. I can tell you already, roughly 100, 200 femtomoles. If you have a CO1 product that is 750, it's between 50 and 90 nanogram. Oh, professor, my CO1 is 835, so what? Who cares? Look, from 100 to 200, it's double, okay? So if we say from 50 to 90, and you have this that is a little bit longer, okay, 90, who cares? Okay? 50, it's always good. No problem, okay? Don't be too much. Yes. Now you remove everything. Okay, so this is the protocol. We take 10 microliters from the previous PCR. Wow. Maybe if it is the first time that you are doing PCR reaction, check that there is a product on the jet first, okay? In any case, you should do it, okay? But if you know, if you are processing many samples, I can tell you that when we go in the expedition, we know. We try the first time, if we see that the primers are working on the species, because not always they work on the species, and that the PCR is okay, that we know already the PCR machine. At this point, we simply take 10 microliter, dilute with 38 in order to reach the volume of 48, that is exactly the same volume, yes. That was expected to be used here. And then for the second, for the barcoding, what we have to do for each sample, we have to do what? Well, these are the primer, they say. You have to do, oh, wow. You have to do simply this, okay? This is the original product. Take the PCR barcode that you bought. Very expensive one. Take 2 microliters. Add 100, 200 femtomole of your first PCR product. Now you know you have to go. This is the most delicate part, right? So open it. And take, yeah, bravo. So you have a very nice. It's taking the last drop of liquid that is inside the tube and is doing a perfect job. For instance, I don't have the, because I'm also a teacher, so when we teach, we try to really give you the best advices, and in my lab, the P10 is forbidden. My group, oh, professor, this protocol they say to use the P2. Oh, does not exist. It's like cooking, you know, somebody tell you, okay, you are the chef, you need this special knife. Oh, Professor, I don't have this special knife. You do it, that with another knife, nothing happened. I always use only the P20. P20, P200, and P1000. Only three. I came from Italy with three. And yesterday I've done exactly the same with my pipette because I don't like yours. Okay? And we succeeded. Okay, now we wait 30 seconds and then we add the
Illusion.
What is multiplex PCR?
how much is
15 micron.
yeah, okay.
More than one time.
Fraction can.
If there are more samples,
Here we are doing multiplex PCR. What is the meaning of multiplex PCR?
different samples, so we are adding different primers.
No, see, that is why you see this thing. Custom phosphorylated barcode is there. Then diluted first round PCR. But initially you are not adding your tag DNA polymerase. Understand? Once you are running, after that you are adding your tag DNA polymerase. And here we are using, as you said, yeah, more than 2 primer we are using. Just multiple, that's why multiplex PCR.
Yeah, in this case, yeah, you need to buy more, but you do that, you do it once. Is now adding 15 microliters of elution buffer to the beads. And now you need to do, oh, you can keep that thick and yeah, try to pour the liquid on the top of the bead.
Because in normal PCR we are mixing all the things, then we are performing PCR. But in this case of multiplex PCR, yes.
Yeah, now you can
After
also,
first round PCR product,
You-
we will add
up and down, up and down. You have to resuspend it then very well.
And here you see they are following only 12 to 15 cycles only.
Okay, now you leave it for
See,
10
that's
minutes.
why I am telling you. Because these are all you have to standardize as per your sample as well as the protocol and as per as PCR machine. Here they are using 12 to 15 cycles only. Yes.
Okay, he has to now incubate the beads with the elution buffer for 10 minutes. In these 10 minutes, the DNA is released by the beads and goes to the solution. Okay? So here, original protocol, you take the barcodes. The barcode, again, the sequence is one of this. Okay? The structure, once again, is like this. This is the part that is identical to the tail of the first PCR, and then the barcode. And then what you do, you add the long amp, tack, tack. When I saw tack, I saw there is a protrusion. So why the hell should I use the New England Biolab kit to add another A? Well, I can tell you, the efficiency of the Taq polymerase, we tried then to perform the protocol with or without end prep, and we saw that there is a 40% reduction if you don't do the end prep. So that means that not really all the molecules are having this extra A. But that's, in any case, it's more than enough. I mean, to sequence 5 minutes or to sequence 10 minutes doesn't matter. We produce a huge amount of sequences, okay? And then the cycle is a typical cycle, and there's nothing to say. In our case, we replace the kit for the PCR barcode with the custom phosphorylated primer. So we have the same oligos, with the difference is that we bought them by IDT any oligo provider, giving them the sequence and telling them add the phosphate group at the 5' end. This is a normal PCR. This is, once again, the PCR barcoding protocol from Oxo nanopore to microliter PCR barcode. 48 microliter of water, 50 of long amp. Now we are trying also to reduce to half the volume. I do not understand why we have to perform a PCR reaction in 100 microliter. But my group is testing. If we can use half of this, we will save also master mix. And so even lower cost for this. The amplification is this one, the typical cycle, and then at the end of the second amplification, again, impure amplification, and after impure amplification, again with the 80% ethanol, again once more quantification. Quantification in this case is something that we have to do in any case, because then you have to pool all the oligos together, all the amplicons together. So the quantification, then when he will do it, we will see again the protocol. At the end, you have to prepare 1 microgram of your amplicons in 60 microliter of water. So, if you have 12 samples, you quantify each of your sample, and then you take the amount that is needed in order to reach 1 microgram. If you have to take more or less 90 nanograms per sample. Or, yesterday I told them on purpose, take 100 nanograms per sample. And they didn't say anything, but they calculate, 12 times 100 nanograms is 1.2 microgram. 1.2 microgram is much more than 1 microgram. Come on, it's like the salt, okay? A little bit more, a little bit less, nothing really changed, okay? This is, at this point, the protocol. Say, okay, you have 1 microgram of full DNA. Actually, it should be, the official protocol say, prepare 1 microgram of full barcode in 47 microliter of water. Then proceed with the end prep. Okay, the end prep says takes 48 microliter of the amplicons, add 3.5 microliter of Ultra 2 end prep reaction buffer, and add 3 microliter of Ultra 2 end prep enzyme. Total is this, incubate 5 minutes at 20 degrees, and then goes for 5 minutes at 65. Oh God, in this case, I need, what do I do? Where do I perform this reaction? If I have a PCR machine, people use a PCR machine for the 20 degrees. 20 degrees is room temperature. Professor, there are 10 degrees here. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. It's the same thing, 20, okay, or 30, doesn't matter. 65 is important because you have to destroy the enzyme. Okay? So you want to block this reaction, but actually also this step is absolutely useless because immediately after you have to do again the impure purification. Now with the impure purification, in any case you are destroying, you are removing the enzyme. But you see, using a thermal cycler, incubate at 20 degrees for 5 minutes and then 65. You can do room temperature, then you can avoid even the step, simply clean up with the impure and that's all. What is this? Because you read the protocol and say, hey, what is this step doing? Because they don't tell you. Okay? Then as I told you before, this is what is difficult to read, but if you go to the New England Biolab website, and you go and check what is the next Ultra 2 and repair DI tailing module, it says that it has been optimized to convert 500 picogram, 1 microgram, 500, 1 microgram. So you see that there is a 1 microgram of DNA to repair DNA having the 5' phosphorylated and the 3' DA tailed end. So it's telling you this is adding a at the 3' end, and is adding phosphorylated. So that means that this is a mix of terminal transferase enzyme and a mix of kinase for phosphorylation. And this is an example of the protocol when we set up the condition many years ago when we went to Tanzania the first time, you know, that I wanted to hack the protocol. Protocol 1, it has done by including both the detailing and end repair step. And we produced something like 10,000 reads. Protocol 2 is without detailing and end repair. We produce 5 reads. So that protocol is required. You go from 10,000 to 5, okay? So it's really required. Then we tried without the detailing and end repair, but by using phosphorylated primer and the Taq polymerase, and we got 9,536, almost identical, okay? Or if you really want to see here the read, there is a slight difference, but at the end, it's not important at all. So it's working perfectly, okay? Or you don't need the end prep, and you don't need the impure purification at the end of the end prep.
1 minute.
1 minute. 1 minute, then he's going to centrifuge. No, he's going to see, to rescue the 14.
15 material.
No, 14. Look at the protocol. Yeah, the protocol. Ah, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yesterday you have taken 14, sir. Yesterday.
Yeah. Why yesterday did I take 14? I made a mistake. In any case, it's working. Yeah, so it's 14.
So in the Excel sheet, you are in Excel sheet. From the Excel sheet, you are looking.
Whatever you know, expert is telling you
Yeah.
Yesterday you opened one Excel sheet.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember. Okay, so go 10, 11, 9, doesn't matter. So yeah, I covered them in YouTube. And then we are here now. He's recovering his right 15. We have a protocol because we have a modified protocol that say take 14. That is for the student. Because if you try to take 15, you really want to take everything and you go very close to the beads in order to recover everything. And it's better to recover 14 than to recover 14 clean than 15 with some beads, because the beads are then binding the DNA. So go on.
14 and 10.
No, yeah, okay, yeah, 14. And then we have to quantify the amount of DNA in order to decide how much we are going to load. And I can tell you that at the end, my expectation is that we will use all the DNA that we have for sequencing. Well, let's follow the protocol, and otherwise I would not even quantify, and I would go straight to sequencing. You can already start preparing the tube for the qubit. You have the qubit here. I think you have a newer version compared to this one. This is the oldest one, okay? I like this one because it's smaller than the new one. And so for our expedition, it's even better. So this is it's taking a lot of space when you go in a plane. This is gonna be turned on, and he's now preparing the two solutions. Very simple what you have to do. You have to standard known amount of DNA inside, and with the two standards you build up a calibration curve, and then you add your sample and see the concentration of your sample. Yeah, it's gone. We do not vortex and we do not spin. You know, it's like telling you, yeah, add the salt to your soup. Then spin at 30 RPM. And what's happening if you do? You don't have a certain speed, okay? In this case, you simply have to mix. Okay, it's 10 microliter in 200, so not so difficult with your finger. You simply tap and you mix. Then you should do that. You should prepare them in the same time, okay? Because you have to incubate 2 minutes in the dark, and then read standard 1, standard 2, and read your sample. So what's happened if you incubate 5 minutes at room temperature? Not in the dark, nothing. The important thing is that you consider that it's not that you can perform the calibration curve now and use your standard in 1 hour, check your sample in 1 hour time. Did you get 14? I'd like to see this one. Yeah, so you remove 14 microliters in the new tube, and I was checking if he took some beads that you see immediately. No beads, good job. Okay, so after several minutes, the fluorescence changes. It's not that you can prepare the standard now and check your sample in 1 hour time. But nothing happened between 2 and 5 minutes, okay? And you can check, because you can check your sample now, check your sample in 5 minutes time, and in 10 minutes time, and you will see that in 5 minutes time, no change. In 10 minutes maybe something is going to change, okay? The only thing that we do, we keep protected from the light the stock of this working solution. After quantification, we start with the flow cell. Quantification here, so you can all see. No. I need probably 3. So. Now yes? Very good. Ooh, so beautiful. Okay, so this is a toy. you can measure DNA, RNA, protein, blah, blah, blah. What we are going to do is to measure DNA. And then to say what day is today, I don't care, cancel. Because it has been. Then we are going to measure DNA. And it says, what it says, there are two types of buffer, a high sensitivity buffer and a normal buffer. And since we are measuring a normal concentration of DNA, we go for the normal one. There should be broad range, okay? Broad range. My finger. So this is the calibration curve we made yesterday. So you want to keep using this one or you want to make a new one? I want to read new standard. Yes. Okay, now we are ready. When they will be ready, they will come here, insert the tube, and you will see in real time the quantification of this DNA. Okay? You are using the right tubes, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so for the qubit, there are special tubes, and they were looking at the tubes, and they said, they are normal tubes. They look like normal tube, but the plastic for the qubit tubes is a special plastic that is transparent to the UV light, okay? In order to allow the UV light to excite the dye.
Tea is ready. 10 minutes, they can have tea and then come back.
They can even, yeah, so we read in 2 minutes and then, so you watch and tea. Huh? Yeah, perfect time, because so we set up then the sequencing.
Today with no sugar.
No sugar.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, I should wait also for okay, I have the coffee before you have the I consider that we are going slow because for him it's the first time. First time. Okay, so a little bit yesterday, but you know, at the end it's very simple, fast.
Nano drop already they know, Nano drop.
Yes, sir.
So it was 190 and 10, standard one,
Standard 2 and DNA.
and 1 microliter of library. We have to measure because we need to rescue between 3 and 30 nanograms of material. Between 5 and 50 femtomoles. Oh, I have 3 femtomoles. Who cares? Sequence anyway. It's good anyway. Okay, once again. Oh, I have 55 femtomoles. You sequence anyway. This is the online tool where you can go, and this is a very nice New England Biolab. Is beautiful. You learn a lot of stuff if you go on that website. And when I have a New England Biolab enzyme to use, I always go on the catalog and see, because they describe you everything, not like Kaizen that is not describing anything. Okay? Kaizen is for a really key person. You don't understand anything, you have no brain, so you simply follow, take 10 microliter tube 1, 15 microliter tube 2. What is doing this solution? You don't know. New England Biolab completely different. And here you can decide, you choose double-strand DNA amount, you see. You can check for single-strand DNA, you can check for RNA, everything is so beautiful and allow you to add the, did you mix well the 1 microliter? Yeah? Not with the 1, because it was 1 in 200. To mix up, or you use the 200 or something like this.
56,
Because with 1 you don't really mix, which is the one? This one? Okay, they want the coffee, so go on. Let's do like this. So they can see. Open. Yeah, open. What is this? I forgot it since yesterday. No, doesn't even like my finger. Okay, ready for the second one? What it says?
Standard incorrect.
Standard incorrect. Uh-oh. Try again. So repeat it. Now standard 1. Now let's see if it was because I think you made a mistake. No, you made a mistake, man. Okay, let's go for the T. We repeat this part and then we repeat it, the reading when you come back. It's not a problem, man. So try the opposite way. Let's say that this is the one. Try with the real one. No. Okay, so we're repeating. These are the two standards, and this was the library. Okay, so we wait. This is 1 microliter reassure. So go on.
So yesterday you have done standard curve. We can measure this library.
No, you can. No, repeat it. Oh, my coffee! Don't waste my coffee. Thank you. You are spending a lot of time today. And see when he's loading. the flow cell. Yeah. You can start the software. The software is available for free. You simply download it. It's not that free. Yesterday we loaded 2 instruments, and we ran 2 instruments, mine and the one of Professor Gigi. So you see it's now saying that it doesn't find one, that is the one from Professor Gigi, but he found mine. So it recognized that it is a mini ion. That now he's going to put the flow cell inside.
Yeah, partition, yeah, you have to make it a big round, then only all can see. Big round. Yeah.
And now you see that yes, recognize the flow cell?
Yes.
There is a number, a serial number for the flow cell. Can you see it? Okay. Now we check the integrity of the flow cell. You go to start, and it's a flow cell check.
Come, that's it.
Because they say that there sends 2 mini ions. I want you to select this one, and then okay, go start. Now for the first few minutes you will not really see anything because he has to check in the temperature. He's bringing up the temperature up to 37 degrees. That instrument is so nice. It's beautiful. Now we have to wait. So you can also go have a tea. It will take 5 minutes to reach temperature, and then it will start checking for the pore. And then at the end, in 10 minutes or so, it will tell us how many pores are available. We have been quite tough yesterday with that flow cell. So there are some bubbles inside that if you open, they also another pore tell you close the lid all the time. Close the lid all the time. We don't care. Okay, so you can, if you see here, you can see some bubble. Bubbles are not good. You have to go very close. But if you turn, you will be able then to close and nothing happens. No, but it's not that you can take and move and too much. Okay, although it's very stable. Anyway, yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. You should take a big picture of the bubble and show the bubble to your. Yeah.
அந்த ஒரு பக்கத்தில் இருக்கிறது பெண்ணு அவங்க சும்மா தான் நோண்டிட்டு இருப்பாங்க வச்சுருக்க ஃப்ரேம் பார்த்தது ஆமாம் நான் இதை பார்த்துருக்கேன்
Okay, now it's performing scan. So it's checking the ports. Now if you see something green and then sequencing, and you see this number changing, it will take a couple of minutes or 3. You will see that now is binding the pore with the channel. Also this will take 3-4 minutes.
One is recovering, one is inactive, and last.
Who is talking? Because I don't have direction with this.
Oh, okay.
It's still checking, so it still did not sequence, but it's already sequencing. So now you see this guy going So what the question was?
Recovery, inactive and unclassified. What
Yeah,
are they?
you it's written there, so the description of all the port,
Okay.
active and classified is on the slide.
Okay.
Now let me enjoy this moment. The 10 days to meet this moment, Professor Gigi. We succeeded, yeah, I know already, even though we still have to start sequencing. It's still combining the channel with the pore, but because some piece of DNA passed through, it's already sensing it. Try to, for instance, let's see how many reads we already produced. Then I show you all this. How many? 3,000? 3,000 sequences we have already. And we still have to start sequencing. Then I will show you. And this is the size distribution. You see that there is something small, but because also is in the library, because they add something. But you see that there are the majority of the reads, now this will grow around the size of our co-1. Okay, so it's still you see how many greens? The greens are the pore working. And this flow cell, if you look at it, is destroyed with all those bubbles. So never throw away flow cells until you have 10 nanopores. So it's sequencing a lot. This is the situation because we still have to start sequencing. So it's checking all the nanopores. So you see that the nanopores that are in any case already available for sequencing, that is increasing because it's checking all of them. I don't know how many of them have been checking because I don't remember what is written, but anyway, so let's see how many sequences. It's now 7,000. We could already stop now. We have already enough reads. Yeah, and we still have to start sequencing. Can you believe me? Amazing! Amazing technology. Beautiful. I love it. Temperature is okay. This is useless. This is data saved on the disk. It's already 76 megabases. And you see that it's now going up. The signal that you, for each of the channels. And then we have already 12,000 sequences in 8 minutes, and actually it still has to, is now sequencing or still checking? Sequencing channel? Yeah, so sequencing now. So, are you happy? Do we stop already? Or do we let it go for another few minutes? So you see, old flow cell, new people, and we succeeded, and we sequence now, let's say, we beat the record of yesterday of 60,000 reads. Now is 17,000 in 9 minutes. It's already more than enough. If you go, you see that this is now, here it started sequencing, and then you see the greens with the time, they go down. They go down because some pore get blocked, and also because the DNA is passing through the nanopore, so the library is depleted. And so when you see that this is going down a lot, you wash the flow cell. So with the DNA, you release the DNA that is blocking the pore, and then if you use it again, you will see that the number of pores available increase. Okay? So they were blocked, don't throw it away. And then you load another library, and so you can sequence it, continue sequencing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here this is something that you monitor. When I will show you the data result, I will also show you some screenshot of sequencing a horse, where you will see that really we deplete the library a lot. But in this case, it's impossible because we already have
25,000.
so you see that this, with the time, will go to plateau. But now it's really going skyrocketing. Already more than enough. And you see, what a big peak. Then the software that I have here will remove all those sequences because they are short. There is already 18, what is 18 megabits? 1.8 of this size, so temperature, voltage, data written, current, but the one that we look at is this one, 28 sequences in 12 minutes. Yeah, we produced it less than yesterday, but, and again. We can already stop or let it go for another 5 minutes. What you want to do? 1 o'clock, perfect.
Lunch is ready. If you are finishing, then we'll go for lunch.
Stop. Stop. Again, no. Yeah, that is this one. No, well, it was selected, but it's only one, okay. Stop. Yeah, I really want to stop. Then, because I'm not throwing away this flow cell, he will have to wash it. We have the washing, so he has to load the washing solution. That is probably at 4 degrees. Next slide, please, Professor. Yeah. More. Ah, they were here. I forgot this slide, sorry. Can you find one that says stop? Go on, again. Oh, okay, this one. Is prepare the flow cell wash mix. That is 2 microliter wash mix and 398 wash dilutant. Pass to that. But we can go for lunch and let the slave do the work for us. In any case, since we have to open again the timing port and load 400 microliter here.
So here the depth of sequencing and all, it will be automatically doing, or we need to mention how much depth it sequence.
The software that we have, the pipeline that we have developed is 200 reads per sample. So there are 12 samples. We need 3,000 reads. Then let's say that we want to be balanced, and because it's not that really you obtain the number of reads divided by 12. When you read 10,000, 20,000 is more than enough. If you want really to go to 50,000. Here we have 25,000.
The metagenomics, you standardize the protocol? 16S RR.
Yeah, so I have the protocol for the metabarcoding. For metabarcoding, yes, yeah. In this case, of course, you have to let it run much longer because if you have a bacterium that is not really much represented, it's better. Then, this system is clever because if you have online base calling, you may also say, if you have a good computer, you may also say, at certain point, if you have read enough read of one microorganism, do not sequence it anymore. So when the sequence passes through the port, the light base calling, is recognizing that it's already been already sequenced enough, is throwing back the DNA in order to make nanopore available to another sequence. It's amazing. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Instead of CO1, I will
Yeah.
add
So
the
only you may, if you want to maintain, you have to decide if you want to perform the ligation or the PCR for the barcode. Usually, if you use the PCR also for, let's say, quantitative analysis, the first PCR and then the barcoding by ligation, but always by using phosphorylated primer. Yeah, so I have the protocol, and actually I have to give the protocol to who?
Share to sir, then we'll.
Yeah, so somebody asked me the protocol, and you? Yeah, because I don't hear. Yeah, right there. So she wants.
send it, then I can.
Yeah. And also there is a description of what we do, the metabarcoding of water and plant pathogens in plants. There are also some publications, and they are already in the presentation that I'm going to give you, because yesterday, 2 days ago, I didn't show the entire presentation during my last lecture, just a part of it. The rest is all on this part, okay, with the references and so on. Yeah. Here's the word. We can go over, you see? Fantastic, huh? I'm happy we succeeded. You know how to do it, right? Yes, sir.
पहले जहाँ से निकालो था निकाल के डालो को सलाह नहीं चाहिए सीधा फ्रस्ट्रेशन
Can you remember? Yeah, go. If that is full, stop, and now close all close this one. Well, and now you remember you have to remove everything. Throw it away, and that is ready. Okay, so this part may sound complicated because I'm not a bioinformatician. Okay? I can tell you that you will find the description of the pipeline in this paper. Here is the website where it's, I can send you directly, it's Genes, I think?
Genes.
So it's open, yeah, open source. Yeah. We published 2 papers, the first in 2017, I think, with the first pipeline. And then the second paper is this one with the second pipeline. Now we are going to produce a third pipeline because the quality of the reads improved dramatically, okay? Now it's divided into 2 parts. The first part is the oxonanopore reads pre-processing, that is the base calling. We have to convert, and the second part is when you have all the raw reads to produce a consensus sequence and then to blast. So we go through the entire process. If something is not clear, please stop. Maybe some slides are not perfect because I didn't finish everything. Last night I drank 2 bottles of wine and then I collapsed. But yeah, I deserve. I mean, we succeeded yesterday, but I prepared all this presentation in these days here. So It's the last day I see you, and I apologize if my slides were not perfect, but really I've done my best in the little time I had for you. That has been this week. I started on the plane coming here with the stress, oh my God, and too many hours of lecture, oh my God, but then at the end. Okay, so, again, the own pre-processing there for bioinformatician is what we do on the right. For non-bioinformatician like me, I tell you what we have to do in few words. First of all, we sequence and got those signals. We didn't get a sequence, we got those profiles. And those profiles are stored in a file that is a fast file. Don't ask me too much. I just know that the fast file contains the signal data along with the metadata like the channel number, the read ID, the duration, and so on. Things that for me are not important. What is important for me is that we have to convert this in a real sequence. And to do that, we use the software that people keep developing. There are many. They keep changing. We are using Guppy that is based on this algorithm, this recurrent neural network. I'm not going into the details of how it works, but just to tell you what we have to do. We have to decide what kind of base calling we want, considering that there is a fast base calling, the high accuracy, and the super accuracy. Actually, now there is also duplex, but it's too much. Now, according to Oxford Nanopore, this is the quality of the read. Consider this is the accuracy. That is, it says that if you go fast, you get 95%. If you go high accuracy, you go close to 97. And if you go super accuracy, you go close to 98. This is what the company tell you. Okay? Actually, it's not really like this. The real quality is that now these are data that I get. I just got from a P2. So sequencing, the flamenco is a champion in jumping. It's a jumping horse, race horse. You can see that we have the fast, the high accuracy, and the super accuracy, and now we also have the duplex. That is, when you have two nanopores close by, where the one strand goes in one nanopore and the other strand goes in a nanopore close by, they infer, by looking at the sequences, if they are complementary, they infer that they are those two strands from the same piece of DNA. And you can see that with the fast, the quality is a Q11, so more or less 92%, 91, 92. Whereas if you go very high accuracy, it's more than 20. So that means that it's less than 1% of error. You remember? Q10, 10% of error. Q20, 1%. Q30, 1 out of 1,000 nucleotides. Okay? So that means that the quality of the duplex, but also the quality of the super accurate, is much, much higher than this quality. So my pipeline is now working with this quality, and is already producing consensus sequence which are 100% accurate. Okay? But it may be that in some particular case, one nucleotide is wrong. So I want to produce now another pipeline for Georgia and June that is able to take advantage of this value. Okay? Here, I could use it because I will show you in the software that I can decide to use to produce super accurate, but I didn't do that because I still don't feel confident to use this pipeline. But the one that I have here is already ready to go for the faster. Then, Oxford Nanopore is working on Dorado. That is going to be, it has been already released. It's still in beta. It takes some time, they will overlap for a while. And according to them, this will be easier, faster, and even more accurate, hopefully, with the duplex. They claim that the duplex will work much better in the Dorado. So they keep changing the version of the base caller and also the software, okay? The base calling command line is a mess. I wouldn't go too much into these details. I would prefer to spend some time and tell you, because I can read, but I cannot explain, I do not understand anything here, okay? I can tell you that, okay, it has been modified in order to, for instance,
Participants are experts.
I know.
They know bioinformatics.
I know, but I'm not. That's the problem. So anyway, you see that here there are some parameters. You may want to change some parameters like, well, in this case, yeah, okay, so directory. Okay, remember format each other too. Directory. And then number of threads. Okay, that's something depends on your
And
computer
the
and so
number
on.
of processors of the CPU you want to give.
Then what the type of flow cell, the key, what is important is this: you can disable the transmission of the telemetry to Oxford nanopore, otherwise the system keep pinging. When we go offline, we shut this down, otherwise you don't care. And the important thing is, we have to convert the fast5 in fast-q, okay? Here, if you remove this parameter that is the default, flow cell, and you remove it, you go and with config and that file, you could go for high accuracy mode or for super accurate mode. Okay, so you decide. By default, it goes by fast calling. These files are provided by Oxford Nanopore. There are many of them, 500 pre-configured files for this. So you select the files according to the thing. Then, what you have to do after base calling is also to demultiplexing, because we said that there are 12 samples here. And so the multiplexing is done easier by this part of GAPI, where you add this sample per code, very simple stuff, okay? These are the commands that we are going to give now to my computer in order to, in Unix. I try. It's complicated for me. But I try to. I have to open the same file here because I want to watch also from here, because otherwise.
Massimo, if you want help, yes.
Yeah.
Scholar will do.
Yeah. So I'm going to launch sorry, just a second. Yeah, they do it. I mean, they've been sequencing. But you want me to also to... I'm tired, I'm an old man, so you're going to do that, right? I have to open first, so you can see the command here and copy. Otherwise, here I will launch or you can copy. Let me open this, so day 3, bioinformatics, biocoding pipeline. Because there is one thing that I have to do. I have finished the previous analysis and I have to clean up the folder. This is written in Italian. I have to clean up, so I have to enter in the India sequencing. Only fast share folder, so you see. The desktop della macchina virtuale. So from the virtual machine, I have to go in share folder. India result is not in the share folder. The India sequencing. India sequencing, I have to clean up and delete fast5 analysis and delete final result. Delete final result. Then I have to go in bus 5 is already empty, suppose. No, these are my
Yes.
cancel. And then I have to delete the final fast queue. 5. Share folder only fast 5 and then done. Huh? Again. Okay, so I'm ready to go. At this point I can close the virtual machine. That is in Italian. That will be very easy for you to use it. Okay? And the first thing that we do, we have an Oracle virtual machine mounted here. I already have the file with all the instructions on how to load a virtual machine on a computer. But I would really suggest, Professor Gigi, you have a super expert here.
Dr. Rintu is there. You send it, he will do it.
Yeah, so also to install, because then I will leave you all the data that we produce today, raw data, and I expect you to exercise and to produce exactly the same output that I produced. That I will give you, so the raw data and the final data, and you can play with it, okay? If you have any problem, you will have the opportunity to get in touch with my bioinformatician by Zoom, and so they can tell you what to change and help you also installing this kind of thing. So the first thing that we do, we load the virtual machine, because I wanted to have a virtual machine because I don't know Unix. And so I prefer to have a Windows machine with a virtual machine with all the commands written, okay? This is the virtual machine. I start, avia is start, sorry, it's an Italian, but it's just this command. At this point, I will have what is called a
Also, Oracle is separate from
But your box I can use.
Unix also.
You can log it this also.
Same command.
This connection we are doing with Windows subsystem, here are the virtual box.
In the meantime, I copy, so we perform a real new analysis. We copy the data that we sequenced, okay? So we can sequence, we can analyze also that. They are in hope to. Okay, so this is a virtual machine. I'm in the Unix environment, but here I'm in my own environment, Windows. Okay? In this Windows environment, I have a shared folder. The shared folder can be seen also through the virtual machine. I have the shared folder here. So I use the shared folder to transfer data from one machine to the other machine, okay? And how we do it, actually, now, so let's say that if I run the entire analysis, well, let's see the data that we have produced today. Now, I'm in Windows. Windows, there is on the card, Hope 2 is today.
Yes. Okay.
Hope was yesterday. Hope 2, we have the report of the run. Let's see what it say about. This is the file that is produced by. Oh God, that's so bad. No. Yeah. Windows via Microsoft Edge. Oh, okay. So I'll tell you how much data we have been. Yeah, from here I have to copy them. Actually, I remove them to India sequence. Fast file. Only fast file. Only, right? Yeah, so fast file. Yeah, I'm getting old, you know. Okay, so they are here. Okay, so what I've done so far, it has been simply to transfer file in the right folder because the pipeline then set up, but then if you look, for instance, at the code, because pipeline software, the first one that we are going to launch is, where is it? This is the first file for bioinformatician. They will be able to understand that somewhere there is written the chemistry of the flow cell. And then there is written the barcode. Somewhere there should be written India, the directory where I just put where is the software and where I put, can you see India? There should be written India somewhere.
Chemistry is there. Chemistry.
Where is chemistry? Well, let me follow order because otherwise I may be confusing. Let me see what there is here. I know it's going directly here because I have to go. This. On pre-processing. I don't know. No, it doesn't complicated for me. Anyway, so let me close this one. So let's say that you understood very well that we have to copy the file from the shared folder that allowed me to transfer from Windows to here. And then from here, I take the data from the shared folder and I transfer in this India sequencing that for me is a project that has been dedicated and the pipeline has been set up by bioinformatician to work here. Then I copy the reads here, okay? And now what we have to do is to start the pipeline by following this command. Okay, so you do. You can copy and paste probably. Otherwise, I give you the command here and you copy from here.
So here, where will get the command from?
The there, yeah, there. Yeah, open the, yeah, there. Yeah, you can click, yeah, on the blue, remove that, yes. Please, then go full screen. Yeah, the one on the top. Ah, no, I'm sorry. So it's visualize.
Yeah.
The third one. Now you see visual on the menu. Visualize. So top white.
Okay.
Visualize. Full screen. The first one. Yeah. because there is a part of the, otherwise you don't see something. Then you have to, at this point, change directory, change folder by following the first command. That is this one, if you want to copy from here. Ah, because the Italian keyboard. That's complicated. Now, mobile. Mobile. Lab. Pipeline. Is here. Underscore is here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay, software.
Tools.
Pre-processing. And shift and this. Okay?
Enter is stamp. This is enter, it's stamp.
Yeah, return. Yeah, no, this one. This one. Yes, you did it.
No, sir.
And then we have, so we went into right directory. Now we are removing the log file from previous analysis with this command, remove no hot with the U. U.
No hope.
Oh,
Backspace is this.
yes. Yes. Go.
So first CD we are going to the directory, okay? RM is remove. Okay, yesterday we have learned already. Okay, the next one is.
This is if you want to copy from the other
It's
side.
good, sir. You copy.
Yeah, now you have to go here. Yeah, then go visualize the third and then the first one. Yeah. So you have
Desktop.
power. Yeah. No, it's not copyable. So my people are really terrible. No, don't tell me that is. My people are really terrible. Ah, you can copy from here. Sorry. Control. Yeah. Okay. Before to go there. Anyway, you can. Yeah. Okay. Go. No. It's already. So, yes. It should be somewhere over there. There should be the. Where is it?
The back one, there are two files now.
now you are in Windows. Yeah, okay. Doesn't work, you have to do that with the,
Control V.
yeah, space. You are looking for the PDF file?
Yeah.
It's still in the virtual machine. Virtual machine, left, right, there, yeah. So it's one of the windows open, so you have to reduce this one. It's just below this one. So if you click here, it should go again this one. There's the file. You do not.
It's running.
Try here. No, this one. Right there. No, nothing. No,
No, it's just-
I don't know what it is.
This is the one.
Yeah, so you have to click on it. Wait, there's two computers are too complicated.
Let me copy this one also. The same
What
file.
are you copying?
You should open only that.
Well, I will just copy it. Yeah.
On the left side, below the
Yeah, where there are the glasses. Yeah, so you see it? Yeah. Very good. Okay, this is the Italian version of what you were reading in English that was exactly identical. That is, when this message appears, then press enter and write no hook. Appending output to no hook.
It's running.
Enter again.
It's running.
Running.
Now you have to write watch. The next sentence. Watch. Yeah. Okay, so this command is simply to watch what the pipeline is doing in this moment. And we can monitor here. You have to go, yeah.
So configuration file, everything has come.
Still design of the 100%.
Minimum Q score is 8 in it is shown. Minimum Q score, 8 it is shown.
Q front score.
Yeah, so it's a record profile 4000, but actually that is a mistake because it's set for 1000. They have not been able to change the output here. Yeah, but you see what it's doing here is simply using GAPI. You know, this pipeline is simply running the GAPI software for base calling. So the pipeline is simply telling GAPI where to go pick up the file and is giving some parameters that are in the configuration file. If again you want to see the configuration file, since it reads by 100%, is the one that you can find. There's nothing special. I mean, let's say that this is the pipeline for dummies and for people like me who really don't know how to play. A real bioinformatician simply launch GAPI and use GAPI, okay, with the parameters that are indicated. So then, if you, when you download the pipeline, you can dig into it and change whatever you want. You will see there are a lot of comments written by my bioinformatician, so it's quite easy. In the meantime, you can go back on the PowerPoint file and say, show the next slide. So the result
Full screen.
of this, when it will say this,
Next.
yeah, next. So this is what is happening in the virtual machine. There will be folders that are created, and the folders will contain one folder, the FASTA and FASTQ for each barcode, because now it's base coding, but it's also demultiplexing in order to produce the different barcode. Okay. Then there are all the intermediate files, and there are also the files and the histogram that show you the quality of the analysis. And I hope it will be good, because I mean, I didn't check the data before, and yesterday I didn't take this computer. So this is what we are going to see hopefully in a few minutes when that part will be ready.
It's about to finish.
So you see, this is base calling, how many reads we are analyzing, I don't remember, 5,000? 5,000, how many did we take? Something like this, 5,000 reads. Of course, 50,000 it takes longer. But then it's like cooking. You decide how much you want to cook your meat, or fish, or vegetables. Okay, now,
Yeah, 6,000 reads.
yeah.
Yeah, total bulk 6,000.
Yeah, so for some sample, maybe we don't even have, because yesterday I tried to put together the 12 different tubes, but for 2 of them I had some problem because there was almost no material inside. So maybe some barcode is not. Yeah. So you have to go full screen, otherwise there is something that we don't see when it's over. Full screen is on the left. Yeah. Very good. Visualize first. Yeah, so it's over. At this point, it has finished this coding and the multiplexing. You can close this window.
Next step.
And then you have to go.
Visualization.
PPT.
You can close this one completely.
Okay, I will close it.
And now you go in.
I will close this.
Close it. Yeah, close it.
Close it. You will see.
Close it, close it, close it, close it. Yeah, close terminal, because 2 different pipelines for the 2 different parts. Now, let's go and see in the file. You should go India sequencing. India sequencing. Now there are let me find the point. You should know where the files are.
Yeah. How about the director document?
Okay, you go in FAST5 analysis.
Visualization.
And here you can see the QC, the base calling, the QC. Go on.
Click.
You can see, for instance,
Can I
yeah,
open this?
that one, yeah. This is the distribution of the size of the reads, but this after filtering, if you close this one and open the other one, close.
You can go like this as well.
Before quality filtering, you see it?
Before.
Go back.
Yeah.
Rate length before quality filtering, you see that there are these sequences that are very short. The software here, that we can see again the parameters, is filtering below 300 and above 1000, because because we expect our barcode to be in between. I wanted them to set it up both for 16S and CO1. So I don't need to change the parameter, although changing the parameter is very easy. So you can see before filtering is this one, and then after filtering is this one. So you see that there is a huge difference. You remove all those short fragments that may cause confusion. Okay? So for every barcode we have this data. Oh, we have a sample that is probably not very good, huh? So this one is okay. Yeah, so this one. Oh, this one is not okay. Yeah, I didn't take, then we have to analyze the sample of today, but if not, no, this is the sample of today.
Today's.
This is the sample of today, yeah. Okay, 6, 7, no, 6, 7.
Unfiltered 7.
Yeah, so now it's up to you. You are leading, you decide if you want to see all of them.
Next year.
And this is just a quality control. This is clearly, B9 is clearly not good.
Yeah. This is.
10 is very good.
Yeah.
11, wow.
Yeah, so consider that what we do, we don't check anything on the gel, okay? So those are 12 samples that have been processed during the last expedition, and we run this directly because for us it takes less time to go in this way. So do not expect, the problem that you have here are not of sequencing, are of amplification.
Yes, sir. Therefore that is.
Then, if you go into the analysis, you will see the fast A and fast Q for every sequence. So the fast Q, for instance, you can open the fast Q of barcode 1. This is your fast Q, okay? At this point, you have your own fast Q. You may decide to stop here because you have your own fast Q and you go and blast in other ways.
This whatever these are used for different science, no? They are giving.
Where Q score is which is
So quality scores of this suppose this percentage is different some score. So they are taking average of this.
Oh, you are a bioinformatician.
we are all. Because yesterday also Dr. Sandeep Paul.
I thought you were more a biologist, but you play.
Because for the past 15 years we are doing this job only.
Okay.
Still learning.
Yeah, okay. So you have seen, this is simply a very simple way to run GAPI. Download GAPI, start with the raw data, and you don't need my pipeline. Okay? If you want to use my pipeline, at this point you take all the FASTQ file.
You copy everything.
Yeah, copy all the FASTQ file. All of them. Or maybe just a few of them, so we speed up.
Up to 9.
Just 3 or 4, because it's a 15 minutes per blaster, so say a couple of 2 or 3. Those good, because the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 they were good as a block.
10, 11, 12.
10,
9,
9,
11,
10, 11. Yeah. 10 also. Yes, copy.
And you copy to India sequencing final FASTQ. If you want to use only my pipeline for, you simply start from the FASTQ here. Okay? So it's 2 pipelines separated, one to produce the FASTQ and the other to analyze the FASTQ. At this point, At this point, can you open the PowerPoint, please? You have to go out of the full screen. That is somewhere here. There is something that should pop up. Visualize the first one. Okay, so this is the structure of the files. We just went into to take the first cube that were over here. Next slide, please. Now we start the on-track pipeline. The on-track pipeline is, these are the commands. We wait for the command. Well, actually, we could start the command, so in the meantime, I can explain it to you. Because it takes 15 minutes per sample, so it's half an hour, 45 minutes, so yeah, do it.
You can go for
Also this one, you will not find it there, but you find in the PDF file.
Here.
Yeah, that you have there.
This is the one.
See, this 10,
Hmm.
10 or 11.
I took 9, 10, 11. 3. So this is the one.
Down, down.
No, go below. On track. Yeah, from CD.
But our files are not in. So now, okay.
So if we start,
Are you going to the directory or
Yeah.
your file are not there yet?
I'm sorry?
Our files, new file are here in the India sequencing and final sequence. First two.
No, the one you
directory is
copied
different.
then in the final FASTQ.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so you simply have to start, yeah. If you want to see here the script,
yeah, next floor. Yeah. Not copy it. Copy.
then it takes some time when we run this. Okay, so now this has been done by us, so you see comments here. It's not Dupe or Gape. It says now,
Is this
yeah, say you the step. Now it's filtering the reads for the length again. It's redundant because you may want to load your GAPI data. And in this case, the pipeline starts by filtering the read below 300 and above 1000, again, twice. And then you make cluster, you make the consensus sequence, and then the polishing and the blast search. Now, if you can go back to the PowerPoint, I'll show you this point, okay? Yeah.
This is the one.
next?
The next one?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, let's say that you have a contaminated sample, okay? In this case, it's difficult to produce a consensus sequence that is accurate. So here, the idea is, for example, you have, let's say, this sample, this snail, the barcode was number 1. There are 99.88% of the reads that then map on the Sanger, okay? But in this case of the Sanger, of that snail, but like in this example, there are only 23% of the reads that maps on the Sanger, okay? So the first thing, it has been to filter by length, and you see that if you remove the short reads, at the end you get only reads that are specific for that Sanger, okay? So the filtering of the reads based on the length allow you to remove many contaminants. But then let's say that you have a real contaminant inside because you took a sample and you are sequencing also these pathogens, I don't know, something else. So go on, one slide. One more. Oh, there should be rate clustering, the one before. Where is it? So, may I do it? Yeah.
It's the rate clustering.
Rate clustering.
Polish.
No, so I need another slide. That is another presentation. That is complicated for me, but I don't want to spend too much time, but I want to copy. Sorry, I apologize, but...
No, I think with this we can manage. Also messy. With this data we can manage. Whatever data you are having first file, from that we can visualize and
yeah, so now I wanted to explain the concept of rate clustering. The idea here that we had was that if you have 30% of reads that are contaminated in your sequence, it will be difficult to build up a consensus sequence accurate. So first of all, cluster the reads and take only the most abundant cluster. So if you have 70% of the reads that are similar and 30% of the reads that are very different, that clusterize in a different cluster, keep only the most abundant cluster, okay? If the most abundant cluster is the contaminant, that means that you're losing the sample, but at least you are not inventing a sequence that does not exist in nature because you are collapsing two different organisms in the same sequence, okay? So if you do that, go up. So let me do this. If you do this, you see that you further increase the level of identity between the reads that remain and the Sanger sequencing. Then, so this, that if you keep unwanted reads, they may impact in a bad way on your own sequence. And then this.
here also you are doing denicing. Same.
Reclustering. These are the comments for the clustering. We take 70% of identity among the reads. That is a very conservative parameter, because if you consider that between human and mice, there is a much difference, 20% or something like this. Okay, so here is that if you have an insect and you have another insect that is completely different, you should be able to, anyway, no, if you have an insect and a plant, you should be able to discriminate among them. And then what there is, the consensus generation, that is, you collapse all the reads that remain in order to get a single sequence. Then at the end, the sequence that you get, that is the consensus sequence, may have errors. So what we do then is to the consensus, well, let's see the common. To produce a consensus sequence, let's see if I have the data. Because I didn't finish. That is, in any case, we tried and wanted to see what's happened if you have 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 reads from the same PCR. And which is the number of reads that allow you to get the best consensus sequence. And surprisingly, we found that the best number is around 200. If you increase the number of reads, actually you decrease the quality of the consensus sequence that you produce because you have more background noise. Okay? Always this has been done by comparing with the Sanger sequencing. So we tested 20 samples and we saw that the best consensus sequence was got with around 200 sequences. So that's why you don't need to sequence much more, because in any case you are going to discard all the other reads. Okay? Then, you get the output, and then you have the polishing. When you have the consensus, we take all the reads that we have, the 200 reads, and then we remap them one by one on the consensus in order to polish it and to remove the errors. And you can see that this is the consensus accuracy that we get with the polishing. We get usually when there is 99.85% is one nucleotide in a homopolymer. Okay, that's why I want to improve my pipeline with the high quality base calling. That is simply uses GAPI to produce high quality base calling, and you give it to this pipeline. But maybe that now with high quality read, we have to reduce again the number of reads, not 200 anymore, but maybe or just 10. Okay? This is the command for the polishing. That is something that we used to do always with Minimap. With all the genomes that we produce with Oxford Nanopore, like the consensus read, are then cleaned by polishing. Okay? And then again, this number of threads and the score of machine base are something that I do not understand. And then also this one, you do understand? I don't really understand. These are part of the software that are polishing.
Today you saw denicing, no? That is polishing here.
And then the blast search. If you want to see the parameters of this file, yeah, no, so it's already, it has done already with the consensus polishing. It's now starting the blast search. Okay, so blast is something that you know how to do anyway. It will take, everything is mounted locally. So it's a local blast with our database, and it takes on this machine 15 minutes to complete. So if you can go to the file, yeah. And then it's a different folder, desktop. Is pipeline software, and then on track 2. On track was the older file, script, or on track 2 config. Yeah, so this file.
This one?
Yeah. Here you have all the parameters that you can change. Okay, according, so you see the minimum quality of the read 7, you may decide to put 10 or 11 if you increase the quality, okay? Then the minimum length, the maximum length, and then the target rate consensus, we wrote 200, but maybe you want to change the number and do something. The cluster ID threshold, 70%. And minimum fraction of a library support, all these numbers that are normal numbers that you want. Maestri, it was my, by the way, made a mistake because it's Maestr, not S. It's R instead of S. This is the postdoc who wrote this code. So let's say that this is the most important part because base calling is really something that you do with the software that you want. This pipeline is the pipeline that has been built. It's one of the 2 pipelines which are available for species identification. I mean, to produce a consensus sequence that then you can blast.
Here it will be possible to make a phylogenetic tree. Phylogenetic tree, or so we have to use some other software.
I don't know. The phylogenetic tree, I really don't know.
Blast only, I think you can do that. Up to
Yeah,
blast.
so if you can do that with blast.
Blast will. After that we will collect sequences from NCBI, then you have to compare with your sequence. You can take one barcode and blast it.
Yeah, this one.
It's a set here.
So it is blasting.
No, no, but India sequencing is very
India
good.
sequencing.
There you will get some code and blast it. You want sequence only. No?
Google. Where's Google?
What?
Go to NCBI.
Second one.
No,
Yeah.
But that's its outlook, so I don't know where it is. Down. But is it connected to the internet? I don't think so.
It's not connected.
Okay, LPS disconnected. That thing you check.
You can change the monitor and.
No. LPS you can connect.
No, yeah.
Success.
Next.
Yes, this one.
Yes.
Yeah, connected.
Yeah.
Microsoft Excel.
Start from Microsoft.
What are you looking for?
You want to go to Google, sir, NCBI database.
Down. Down.
Now Microsoft Excel.
Yeah. So you know, this pipeline has been set up last year when we still had almost 10% of error. Now we have seen less than 1% of error. So it may also be that you take 2 or 3 reads and you simply blast directly them in order to know what they are. In this case, you just need Guppy, that I suppose can be also used online. And no pipeline anymore, maybe.
First you find share folder.
No, don't take the first two files
First
because that
file.
is with 10% of error.
We want
You have
first
to go India desktop, first file analysis. No, final result. Final result. Does not allow you to go in
Yeah.
because it's still blocked. We have to unblock from inside, but we have to wait for it to finish. But
We have in desktop, right, sir? First file. First file you have in desktop.
Yesterday.
the past few file has it has been produced now.
Yesterday you
It is
did
not on the
the thing,
desktop.
na? Where is the barcode?
The past few file or before.
First we want.
Hopeful.
First
Wait,
No,
wait,
look,
have you seen barcode?
I can give you a pasta of first few files. Listen to me, look at me. The files that you are looking are those before the consensus sequence generation. Okay? You want to use the consensus sequence generation.
Yeah.
The consensus sequence generation is inside that folder that is still locked
Okay, because of this run.
because of the software that is running. Then you have to go in and add your credential and it will be over. But you find
Also messing. Yesterday
Yes,
you
that
did
is
barcoding, no?
yesterday I've done it and you can use
Yes,
this.
that's
That's
it,
what
yeah.
I wanted to
Yes.
that are in this case here.
Okay.
You can find the final first queue of yesterday. John? No, where did I put them? On the disk. I'm sorry, not on this card, on the disk.
Close that.
Here.
Yes, it's
Hope 2 is today.
yes, 19. No, it's not this one.
Other report.
Barcode alignment is there, Surya. Hey, that notepad.
Where did I put it?
Barcode alignment.
These are the old, no, it's somewhere else, because these are the raw data.
What about sequencing summary?
Check this folder. No.
Hey,
What is it?
Final sequencing summary you see?
Sir, at the initial time, no, when beginning the session,
And
find
whatever barcode you have done yesterday,
These
on
are
one
the
thing, then you blast it what it is.
no, sir. We haven't done barcode, sir.
No, you have got some reads, huh?
Yes, sir. He
That's all, that is the thing.
We need consensus sequence, no, sir? Consensus sequence, first year, food last. We cannot read directly, first of all. Like tomorrow.
I don't remember where I saved the data.
Consensus.
शुरू में ही डिलीट कर दिया स्टार्टिंग बिगिनिंग में फाइनल फाइल
Delete some files, right, sir, before.
बिफोर बिगिनिंग द सेशन
Some files are also. Before starting.
Must be here, because I don't think I throw away the data that I produced. It's impossible.
बीच में दो वो ये कौन राइट
Down.
दूसरा है.
उसके अंदर रिसाइकल
Scorpio, दूसरा है नहीं.
I don't remember where I saved the data.
Is
No.
here?
First sequential result. Yeah, where is it?
It's in text of here.
Ah!
Final result.
Final result.
Consensus polishing.
You go.
Such you go there, so there it will be from
Consensus.
yes. Yeah, you take one.
Yeah.
Just you got
Ah! Then yeah, I need to copy this folder for you because
copy only the sequence.
Yeah, I will remove that part. I have copied the whole thing, then I will remove other parts.
Put together that.
It's already together, then it's there, sir.
Column. Wow. The consensus you remove it. All you remove it. Then delete. Delete. It automatically will come. Now you see here, yeah, nucleotide collection only you are doing there. Highly similar sequences. Plus. Okay, you take some other thing. You go to file.
for me, yeah, remove that, yeah. No.
No, you remove that.
Yeah.
Now blast it.
Plain or first about
So it's a something that I don't know. It's creating a secure connection, but I don't know if that is normal officer prop. No, it's working.
It's
Waiting.
normal.
Yeah. Because this is we never use this online.
Okay.
Laptop का charge
You come here too. CBA is there. Other things are not about the other part. Switch on. No,
Because it's running out of battery.
It is working.
Just now it's connected.
It takes time. Oh.
Yeah, it's taking time.
In the meantime, can you check one? It's over. Yeah. So we should now block it without performing blaster, but this is the computer for expedition, so everything offline.
That name will also come out.
I think it is good system. I give it much time.
Yeah. So then copy please. In the meantime, that folder here, because I'm going to give you the raw data and the data coming out. In the meantime, if you want, you can see the blast result of this analysis.
This is the
Yeah. No. No, the shared folder?
yeah, both
No.
It's here.
No, the shared folder.
Only first
Only
sequence.
first sequence result, yes. Because I created on the other side. I create and then I copied, but still I didn't copy on. Can I see? Still good. But it takes so long also for you, or
It's
because
not
it is
taking that much
computer?
time.
3 minutes will come. It's a short sequence.
Otherwise, if you want, you can connect that computer.
But
Or,
that's the, you go there and see the, once you go back, again you go. You see blast. You click that blast. So we close this one, previous one. Sequence already copied. You can copy some other thing. Let's blast search. You take the four.
last one, the first one. Now this, you take another sequence.
Paste it.
Standard
Come
database,
down,
I think,
come
sir.
down. Yeah, here, somewhat similar.
And then standard data.
No, that is okay. Somewhat similar. Then we will show fast.
Everything.
It's not running.
It's not running.
Go for highly sequenced.
Say, you go, yeah, no, high, no,
First option.
No,
I think it's because you have to
First
choose the
option.
database.
Yeah. It is there. It is there.
That is there, sir.
It is there.
Very simple. There, sir. This is there.
Connected.
I think
Connected, but
it's not that you have to choose a database, huh?
Yeah, no, sir.
it's not working.
Because nothing is.
Standard database.
Yeah. Right now? No, it was not there. I don't know.
I think some problem with
We are running so many things, na, sir.
You may want to do that with your computer. We simply
We
move
can
the.
copy the data. You can copy this one here and then we can see.
Yeah, so you have it here. So I don't know how to connect the monitor because it's not the same. It's the same?
no, sir.
Yeah, so it's different. Yeah. Thank you so much. Who is using Chime? So people, I've seen in the Google search there was Chime, that is what we use for metabarcoding.
Yeah, you can use.
Yes,
We are using it.
Yeah, normally we are using, and yesterday Dr. Sandipal explained the kind to me. That's why they know all bioinformatics part. That's why
It's not working, sir. It's not working.
they have used in Linux system only.
Network issue.
Internet issue.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, not working. That's why they are also not working. That's why it was connected, but not working.
I copied this file. First.
You were already on,
So,
it's first sequencing result?
yeah, done. This one, hope to.
No, first sequencing
Yeah,
result?
done.
Hmm?
Done. I copied it. It's copied.
Ah.
It's copied. Should I copy this hope to also?
Oh, yes, of course, those are raw data. All the raw data of the first run,
This
up to raw data of the second run, and first sequencing run. Yeah, copy everything, of course. So in hope, you have the sequencing run of yesterday. Hope 2, the sequencing run of today.
First, it is not completed, I think. Yeah, okay. Not there. The consensus is not there.
For first Q, from that we have to do it.
Yeah. From the-
And you didn't copy the final?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the final,
Okay.
first sequencing run, yeah, so that's
This first
Yeah,
Q
it's
result.
Yeah.
This first Q thing you can run in that microgram on list.
After demultiplex, we can run to on the.
What are you doing?
No, no,
I know you didn't blast it?
no, network, no, it's
Network,
network is
network
not
issues
working.
are there.
Network is not working.
Network issues.
I don't really know what else I can say because, I mean, you see, I'm very good as a chef for cooking in the laboratory. I'm not a chef for cooking in silico, in,
No, we can't.
can you please open the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Should be, no, this is the other file. Then we have to connect again. No, yes. No, there is something else I wanted to show you. I don't remember what. So there, but you know, in any case, show the blast analysis that has been done on yesterday.
Previous.
Actually, yesterday.
Yesterday.
Today, we do data we got yesterday. Final sequencing result, final result, blast search, the blast one result. Yeah, so open it. This is what it's giving you. Don't ask me what is Zogenet, Sarpa, voucher, what kind of a model. If you go below, it's a normal, go down, and then you will see all the alignment. Okay, if there is nothing identical, that means that it's a new species. And it maybe, so it didn't find any identical, that was a new species. But, you know, with this, when we go to Borneo, anytime we find many new species, and still good. Try another one.
We can have break 30.
Yeah, so you see, this is probably here there is a sequence that is 100%. No, nothing. This is too short. Giant barcode. This is the species.
Now that's come.
No, sir. So this is which species now?
No, this is having internal blast arrangement like that. That he got all the results. We are doing all that. We are having.
Yes, sir. The same result we got the zero gas, but the species is identified as species is identified. Now we are going to gas and all that. We have our it's connected.
Now it's yes.
Now is that, then you can test that one. You have taken 4.
We'll take one more, sir. Number one now.
Number 1. What is the number 1? What it is showing, and here what it is showing. All the same. We'll see. Check. This number. It's going. Check. It's going.
It's working now. Yeah.
what it is showing. What it is showing. Zoo genetics harpa. Zoo genetics harpa.
Yeah.
Genetics harpa.
Still alignment.
Yes, sir.
What identity gap 6, identified 86%.
36% is very much different.
No, actually speaking, you see, this is generated data. That is why a lot of gaps, that thing is there.
Or
So
more or
that is
less
why
similar.
before submission, you have to check and you have to do all the things.
Sir, if the similarity comes 90%,
90% we will not accept. We will accept your e-value should be 0 and the 100% identity should be there.
It's more or less same.
See, no, my
86
point
or
is, if taxonomist is there, if they are telling this is this species, even if it is a 90%, then you can submit. But we are doing means, yes, we will be very careful. Because we don't know anything about taxonomy. So that is why you have to be very careful. So consult taxonomist, what they are telling, yes, then you can submit. We are doing means, then you have to check your e-value and the identity, bit score, any gap is there or not, yeah, everything you have to check. Because here see 6 gaps are there. At the time of submission, they will not accept. That thing I will tell you later, how to submit the sequence. So before that, what kind of processing you have to do. Because you have to translate this data. So you have to find out same thing, open reading frame, you have to find out. You can go to expressive translate. So you have to go to expressive, that's what you know, man. How to check, okay, expressive translate. Yeah. So you take your sequence, sequence, only sequence. Yeah. And you know about that ORF, open reading from 6 frames are there. Correct? 1, 2, 3 plus and 1, 2, 3 minus. Correct? That point you know. See here. No, 1 minute. See, another important part is here your genetic code. So what organism you are using? Suppose if I am working on mitochondria, then mitochondrial thing I have to select. Okay.
Down.
No, yeah, see here, standard, vertebra mitochondrial, invertebrate mitochondrial. Normally we are working on insects, so we will select invertebrate mitochondrial. Suppose if it is a plant, yeah, you have to go there. Yes, plant, what it is there? The chlorophysian, yeah. Accordingly you have to select your own genetic code. Now why we are selecting this kind of genetic code? Any idea? See, normal genetic code, your stop codon is there. TAA, TGA, these are stop codon. But whenever you are coming to that mitochondrial codon, yes, that will code. So that is why you have to select appropriate genetic code table. Okay, now translate it. This is insect, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you see here, yes. You see frame 1, 2, 3 is there. This is then. Yes. So in this thing, yeah, see, that is why I am telling you. ATG coding methionine, na?
Yeah.
See, now you have to be very, you should know all the things, codon. See here, so your ORF starting from here to there. So I will select, yeah, frame 3. Because if you are seeing that frame 1, what is frame 1 and frame 2, frame 3? Any idea? You don't know. Okay, see here, you go to that sequence. Sequence, this sequence here, top. See, AGA, that is first. But you are reading GAA, that is second. The third one is AAC, that is third.
Okay.
So like that you are doing, because we don't know how to do, because they are all trial and error only. So that way 3 frames are there. This is 5 dash 3 dash. Yeah, reverse. 3 dash 5 dash. So backside you are saying ATG or TGT or GTA. Forward, reverse. Like that you are going. So here, yeah, where you here very important part is your protein coding gene we want, no? Then only it will your protein will be expressed. So now we are talking about this is cytochrome oxidase 1. So cytochrome oxidase 1 means yes, that's why we are finding ORF, open reading frame. So open reading frame, what is the speciality of open reading frame? It is having a start codon and a stop codon. So that is why you see here M is there. Methionine is there. That is why. So you have to select that and accordingly you have to rectify in your sequence. That thing I will tell you later. But first you understand this point. Okay? So you take any sequence, go for XPath translate, then do it and see what it is happening. Okay, you take any other sequence. So number 3, 2 you take. T is ready. 1 minute. You know, clear, reset. Reset. You see here. Translate. See here. You see. Previously you have seen. But see now, here only you are getting most of the thing. But you see first, see lot of gap is there, not coding properly. See wherever that red color is there, see here mentioned open reading frame are highlighted in red. So now you have to check, see. So see, suppose if you are choosing frame 2, see here gap is there. So I will go for this. Yes, up to that level it is there. So what I have to do? Same way I have to go to nucleotide, that codon. You have to see and you have to cut all the thing. That thing I will do it because it will take some time.
Here, see. According to the
Now just I am telling you overall. Yeah, see here you have to go. You see ATG. So first of all you have to see exactly this coming. See here. G means A is coming. So something wrong. So you have to find out what things are there. Any gap is there. Yes, that thing you have to filter. So once you are doing that kind of part, then you have to submit to the NCB. So whatever sequence you are getting, whether microbiome or plant or animal, you have to do this thing. So you have to be very, yes, you have to spend a lot of time on this. Yes, that is very, very important part. Otherwise, yes, you can't do it anything. Because normally we are outsourcing what they are sending as it is we are submitting. That is wrong. So that is why you have to check each and everything and accordingly you have to submit. Okay? So now tea is ready. Then you can finish your tea, then come back.
One question. Sir, like we have done check all, then we have to again do blast.
Exactly. Yeah. Again you have to do blast, and is there any change? Yeah, you will see the value. That
We have to compare.
bit score, everything will change because you are changing, no? But another important part is I am correcting means everything you are correcting, no? Then yes, that is not your organism. That is another problem is there. I am correcting the yeah, whatever it is available, same thing I am putting. Then where is my part? So you have to be that point I have to emphasize. Okay. I'll tell you later. Yes, now we will go for tea.
Below the melting point. So if you design a primer that is having an oligo that has a melting point of 60, you run the PCR at 55 in normal condition. Remember, all the software are based on a very artificial situation because the melting temperature depends on the salt. And the salt depends on the solution that you have as a buffer in the PCR machine. okay? So there is no one software that is working perfectly. If you change the buffer and you change the amount of magnesium, everything is gonna change. Then I will tell you about the magnesium in the PCR reaction, what it's doing, okay? Then, because I don't have, I can use a piece of paper maybe and to show. Anyway, the idea is that a very simple rule, 80, 2 degrees, GC, 4 degrees. Okay, so the sequence that I highlight is 2, 4, 8, 12, 14, 18, 22, 24, 26, 28, 32, 36, 40, 46, 48, 54 degrees, right? So this is 54 degrees, too short. We need to extend it. Where do you go? Left or right? If you go right, you add 80, 2 degrees per time. Not good, okay? Much better to go left, that you see that there is A, G, and T, and maybe another T, and you are reaching 60. The important thing is that you keep the same temperature for the forward and reverse. If you decide to go shorter because the sequence is very difficult, and maybe you stop at 56, that's fine. But design another primer on the other side that is stopping at 56. Exactly the same temperature by extending or reducing the oligo size, okay? Then you simply move and count. Usually the best situation is a primer that is oligo that is 20 nucleotide long with a TM melting temperature of 60. That means that is more or less 10 AT and 10 GC. Try to avoid, if possible, the long stretch, but do not have the problem that the program tell you, like homodimer, okay? Homodimers do not exist. Okay, this is something that you read because theoretically they can exist, but when we were performing the first PCR reaction, so this is a file, we were adding to the primer, let's say that I can cut here, let's say that this is the sequence that I want to, so there is no bold working here, so we were adding adding something like this at the beginning of the primer, that is a restriction enzyme site. You see that is a pandromic sequence there, okay? This pandromic sequence, if you think, I play with this sequence now a little bit, let's say that this is your sequence that start from here, okay? So this is your normal oligo, with a tail because you want to add a restriction enzyme. Just follow the. If you look at the at this is a palindrome. So according to the software, something like this should give a. Let's see if I can. I have to write the T. No, A, G, G, C, T, T, A, G, G, A, G, G, T, T, then I, T, 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 G, T, C, G, no, I got lost! A, G, okay, yeah. In a situation like this, the primer should form a homodimer. You see, homodimer, because you have the last part, the first part of the primer, that is this one, that is a palindrome. So this is identical to this. Okay? So the software tells you, ooh, avoid primers that can form homodimers because the PCR screwed up. Well, this is something everyone who wants to clone a piece of DNA is doing. And the primers work always. Why? Because in this situation, that can happen, which is the temperature at which you observe the homodimer. The temperature at which you observe the homodimer is 4 plus 2 plus 4, plus 4, plus 2, plus 4. That is 4, 6, 10, 14, 16, 20. So the melting temperature of this region is 20 degrees. And what is the minimum temperature of your PCR reaction? 55. So at that temperature, this cannot happen. Okay, so you don't have the homodimer formation. Okay, so don't worry about the homodimer formation. Just worry about. It doesn't go back. Oh, too bad I cannot go back to the original sequence. But anyway, so the idea is avoid having a primer that ends with a homopolymer like this, because it's difficult in terms of sequence specificity.
Don't go back, sir.
That was
beginning.
no. This yeah, I made a mistake. It was this one. Avoid a primer that ends with this on the 3' end. The 3' end is the most important part of your sequence. It's the one that is conferring specificity. You don't care if you have something like that at the beginning of your primer to the 5' end. Okay, so where you can tolerate a lot of mistakes. Remember, the most important things, the most important nucleotide are the last 4. If there is complete homology in the last 4, fine. If there is even one mistake in the last 4 nucleotides and the rest, maybe 30 nucleotides before, they are all perfect, the PCR is not going to work. So you need to have the last part of the primer very much specific. So when you scan the sequence because you want to design the primer, avoid designing the primer in a region where maybe you have a nucleotide that may be different between 2 different individuals of the same species. Okay? So if, for instance, you want to design a primer for a certain type of insect, and you see that there is variation in that nucleotide, put that nucleotide at the beginning, not at the end of your primer. And then consider that you can increase and decrease the specificity of the PCR with the magnesium. If you have a situation in which, may I design? May I? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? So a situation in which you have a sequence, and you have a, you probably don't
So
see.
you go to a classroom and board is there. You can use that board.
Let's go. Would you like to?
Yes, yes.
If you care, because I don't even know this.
முன்னாடி போய் அரங்கு
The software tell you that the right primers are here and here. And then you don't like this primer. You want this primer to stay a little bit longer, and the software tell you no. Well, with that rule that is 2 times AT and 4 times GC, you may move also in an area that is very rich of A and T. Extend the sequence up to reach the same melting temperature of this primer. That's the fundamental rule is keep the same melting temperature for the 2 primers. One may be longer, 20 nucleotide, the other may be 26 nucleotide longer. You don't care. The important thing is not the same length. The important thing is that they have the same melting point. Okay? So generally it's 50-50 between A and G, but this is generally like cooking, remember. Usually you do like this, but if you take something that is not salty at all, you add more salt than usual. Okay? Then this is fundamental. So it's very simple rule, huh? 2 times AT, 4 times GG. This works better than any possible software. Then there is one thing that is very much important to know. The magnesium is your most important tool for governing the PCR reaction. Because let's say that you have a mistake in this position, and this is your primer. Okay? If, remember, PCR tolerates that you have complete homology in the 3' end and no homology at all in the 5' end. PCR works beautifully. You consider this region for the hybridization. Okay? PCR does not tolerate at all total homology, and then maybe even the last nucleotide only different. Here the PCR is not gonna work. Not at all, 0. Okay? Even if the difference, if the mistake is in the last 4 or 5 position, the PCR is not gonna work. Move your primer backward or forward. Okay? Then, let's say that there is a mistake here. Mistake, difference, value. Depending on the magnesium, if you decrease the amount of magnesium, you increase this effect. Okay? If you increase the magnesium, you decrease this effect. So, if you want your primer to be very much specific, use little magnesium. No more than 1.5 millimolar. No more than 1.5 millimolar. If you increase the amount of magnesium, you tolerate mishybridization. Okay? At the point that really it's dramatic, the difference, because you do something like this or something like this in the same condition simply by changing the level of magnesium. So if you have a lot of background, if you have unspecific product, you can or increase the temperature or simply you keep the same temperature and you reduce the amount of magnesium. That is very good because I was talking to your student that you have this fantastic gradient PCR, okay? So you can use the gradient PCR and then decide the temperature which is, but in this case you need to run all the sample at the same temperature, okay? So if they are not optimized for the same temperature, you have to run different sample at different cycle. You simply change the magnesium and you can run at the same temperature all your different samples because the magnesium is going to increase or decrease the specificity. Now the problem that you have is that most of the time you buy a buffer for the PCR enzyme that is already with magnesium inside. And that is now very high, it's about 2 millimolar. Well, we do not use the magnesium already in the buffer. We try to buy the PCR buffer with the magnesium separated because at that point you can play with this. So this is very much important. Your PCR fail because you are unable to amplify your insect or whatever it is. You may be in a situation like this, okay, in which there is a mismatch that is causing this kind of structure in your primer template formation. Increase the amount of magnesium, sometimes go up to 2.5 millimolar, and you will see this situation, although there is a mistake. You can understand. Are you familiar with the real-time PCR? Do they know what is the real-time? No. No, okay. So real-time PCR, for instance, you have the double end. Okay, but now forget about that. That is so, remember also the NTP's concentration is very much important. You should calculate the NTP's concentration based on the size of your amplicon. We keep using the same amount of the NTPs. We don't care about the size, but this is wrong. Okay. First of all, the NTPs they bind magnesium. So if you increase the amount of concentration of the NTPs, you are reducing the amount of magnesium that is available. And magnesium is causing this effect, okay? If you decrease too much of concentration of the NTPs, the risk is that you run out of the NTPs before the end of the cycle, so you do not produce enough product and so on. But mainly, yeah, carefully evaluate the amount of magnesium. Sorry, I don't know what else to say. We are here now.
Normally we are following primer 3 for designing the primer. Then we are checking this homodimer, this thing with the help of oligo analyzer.
You know, I mean, I don't want to teach to a teacher. Okay, absolutely. I don't want to. Simply, yeah, so I do believe that for people like me who started performing PCR in the 90s, that we learned from scratch at the beginning, we believe that the experience that we have is quite good. Then at the end, if you don't have that experience because you were doing something else, it's fine to use the software. But if sometimes you have a primer that doesn't really work carefully, try to remember the old rule 2 times 2 degrees AT, 4 degrees GC. Forget about the primer dimmer problem. Just try to avoid that 50% of the primer is overlapping if possible, and they usually work very well anyway. I don't know what else to say. Questions? What should I do regard the concentration of the other component? No. BSA. What is BSA doing? Do they know?
It is increase the enhance the amplification.
You? Bravo. Yeah. I didn't want to finish with this part because I also think, he is the expert. Then what else can I tell you? PCR machine. I wanted to show you. Yeah, okay. PCR machine. PCR machine are fundamental because, okay, so usually you have the Peltier. You know how the PCR is working?
Yes.
The Peltier? You know the Peltier?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so you know that the Peltier is heating from one side and cooling from the other side, okay? Usually this is the Peltier. And on the top of the peltier, there is how do you say, that part that contains the places where you put the well, yeah, the one where you put your tube, okay? Usually, but not always, usually the thermometer is located in between the plate carrying the tube and the peltier, okay? Now, if you have a tube, and this goes up, so let's say that the temperature at a certain point has to go to 99, 98, 99. So the peltier turned on, temperature in the peltier reached 99, okay? Then it stays stable for how long? 30 seconds. And then you go down to 72, okay? For how long? 1 minute? No, sorry. Then you go down to you go down to 55. Okay, you go down to 55 for a primer binding, and then you goes up to 75 for 30 seconds. Okay, this is what you write on your machine, but this is what happened in this point of the instrument. This is not what happened inside the tube. Inside the tube, you will have something like the temperature is going up, like this, then stabilize, and then it's going down, doing something like this, and then up again for 72, okay? Now what is fundamental is this part especially, because if you tell the system to stay here within 30 seconds, and you have an instrument that is slow in transferring the temperature to here, the risk is that, okay, so let's say you reach 99 into here. When you are here, the tube is still here. It's not reaching the right temperature, okay? And then when you go down, you are maybe here. Okay? So what's happening is that in a situation like this, I try again to see if I can do something that makes sense. You may have something like, in a situation like this, you would have that you start with the tube and maybe you are going immediately down and immediately up. Okay? So the time you stay here is much shorter than the time that you expected here. So the time you stay here is much shorter than this one. So that means that you have a bad denaturation and you don't have primer hybridization. Okay? So that is something that you cannot control. The only way to see if your cycle is accurate is to have a PCR machine where you have the tube, the equator tube, with a thermometer that you put inside. In the old days, we had PCRs having the thermometer inside, and we were measuring the temperature inside the tube. So we were calculating, for example, 99 degrees for 30 seconds based inside the tube. Now we don't do that. We do that on the machine. So that depends on the machine, because if you have a machine that is going, this is impossible, right? But you may have machine going with the ramping time of this. So you reach 99, stay 99, or let's say 30 seconds, and then going down, something like this. So your tube can do something like this. And maybe not even reaching or reaching for a very short time and then doing something like this, okay? So you have to test with your machine. That's why I was telling you that your machine, your PCR machine is like the oven for us. You keep testing them. And so if you see that what you do, you should try with a long aggregation time. Start, your problem was say 30 seconds. Start with a minute. your PCR product will be good. And then start reducing it until you see that your PCR product is not as good as before. So that means that you will be able to calculate exactly what to write on the instrument. If you see that your product at 40 seconds is good, 35 seconds is not good, don't put 30 because the protocol tells you 30. That 30 for a general instrument. Your instrument works a longer time, okay? So we keep the cycle shorter because we want to save time. But reaching really the limit that allow you to have PCR, but in some instrument that means no PCR product is not good, take it easy. Extend all the times of a little bit, and this will make sure you have more stability. For us, this is very much important because the same instrument, when we take the same instrument and we run it in the Gobi Desert that are 40 degrees, the Peltier is unable to maintain the same ramping time. Why? Because the Peltier is made of a block that if it is making hot here, it's going here, okay? So that means that if there are 40 degrees out there, when you want to cool down the reaction, that you need to produce cold, that means that you are throwing away hot, and you need to cool down this part, okay? If outside is very hot, it's difficult to get rid of the hot, okay? So in this case, the cooling capacity of the Peltier is much lower than at a high temperature, than at low temperature, okay? So because of this, the same PCR machine can have a different capacity of going down. One day is like this, another day is like this. So that means that if your cycle is very narrow, so limiting, you are limiting it, you may not have a good PCR process. So once again, take it easy. Yesterday my PCR worked and today it doesn't work anymore. First parameter, same temperature in the room. It's important, huh? A big change, that may be the explanation. So based on this thing. And remember, always the PCR in the tube is doing something like this. Okay, so from here, from this is, you should be 75 and then you go back to this point. Okay, so this is the physical cycle. It's not like you see on the instrument ramping up like this. It's not like that, it's like this.
I have one technical question. Like we have BioRed, Appendrop, two company PCR. I tried like same condition, both the PCR same condition. I placed tube and then I done the PCR. In BioRed it takes little bit time, more time, and in Appendrop it takes short time. But conditions are same. Why it's different?
It's the ramping temperature. So if one is lower to produce the cycle, because you say 30 seconds at 99 degrees. Yeah, but maybe one instrument it takes 10 seconds to reach that temperature. The other instrument it takes 20 seconds, so it takes more. So if you have the two PCR that have different, one is faster than the other, you cannot use the same cycle. You can reduce the time for the slower PCR machine, probably, that is much better. So make the cycle shorter. That's fundamental. Play with the component of the PCR in terms of temperature and magnesium, as you do when you cook. sense. No. Oh, guys, what do we do? Or do something. And do not, at the end of the PCR, let the PCR running overnight at 4 degrees. All the protocols say at the end of the PCR, cool it down at 4 degrees. Why? Why? Because you believe there may be some degradation of the DNA inside? Well, you have to invent an exonuclease so thermal resistant that is able to survive 40 cycles or 30 cycles at 99 degrees. It's sterile, your tube. I keep fighting with my students that they want to destroy our instrument by leaving over the weekend at 4 degrees. When the PCR finish the cycle, I bring it back to 20 degrees and then stop. Look, it's impossible that the DNA polymerase that is inside will again amplify. There is no denaturation step anymore, so the polymerase will stop. And it's impossible to have an exonuclease that degrades your DNA. So there is no reason to. You don't trust me? Try. Perform one PCR reaction with 2 tubes. One is left into the instrument for 1 week at 4 degrees. The other, if you want, even at 37 degrees for 1 week, do not open it. So at the end of the PCR, and you will see that after 1 week they are identical. This is the beauty of my job, that we play with the technology. So I will tell my students, okay, now we have to sequence this insect because it's part of your thesis. My students, their thesis is to confirm that the protocol, to learn the protocols, So that their thesis may be how to use a PCR machine properly. So we play doing this kind of experiment, and they work, and you understand that many times the protocols are written in a very strange way, and simply, if you take a protocol and say centrifuge 5 minutes at 8,000 RPM or 8,000 G, you know the difference between G and RPM? Yes? Yeah. Okay, so why? Because somebody may have really set up perfect protocol, but in majority of the cases, they simply were using the centrifuge 5 minutes at 8,000 RPM. That's all, or G. So you make people, when you find many protocols where they say, for instance, the mini prep of the DNA, probably say run at 12,000 G or RPM. Why? Because at that time, when the protocol was set up, we had only fixed speed centrifuges. And they were running only at that speed, and when you were writing the protocol, you were reporting those things. But that doesn't mean that if you change the condition, you get a different result. That is fundamental. The protocols are for kid person. But you are scientists, so you should also test what's happening if you change the protocol. Well, considering that you have to make sure you have to check the result, because you never know. Molecular biology is so beautiful. Bioinformatics is fantastic, but molecular biology is much more, because it's more dynamic, You play with a computer, you tell the computer what to do. We play with living things that you never know how they behave.
Sir, can you give some insights on library preparation, like how we need to library preparation?
Yeah?
Library preparation.
For what?
For any, I'm not aware of those steps under library preparation. Yes, but how to decide the concentration? We are the practical optimization, we need to decide the concentration each consent, or should we follow the company's protocol, or we should do trial and error and kind of
For the nanopore, you mean, or for what?
general sequence 16S?
For the 69, yes, everything is 69. So for the 69, it's exactly what you're seeing today, it's identical. The library preparation is identical. Okay, there is no variation. The only thing is that, no, it's identical. But in any case, I will give you our protocol for library preparation.
Okay, sir.
He's busy with the phone, the professor, so I had to ask him something. So he will come and we will say, okay, we go home. But like that, you know, so.
Is it good for giving a short spin before PCR reaction sample? Is it good for giving a short spin before PCR?
The short spin before PCR, if you really add drops all over the tube, yes, but in normal condition, no. The short spin before the PCR, you perform the spin only if you have, yes, but you are not very good in mixing things. So this is the tube, some liquid is here, there's part of the liquid here, part of the liquid there. In this case you do it, but otherwise, usually I simply do something like this. Most of the material goes down here, so no problem. Also, another very important factor, the plastic of the tube, because if the tube is thick, the heating transfer will be slow. If the tube is very thin, faster. Oh, you're back. I didn't know. I didn't see you. Okay, good.
Any questions from audience?
Sir, questions. In grading this year, sir, I have gotten grading this year.
Yeah, sorry, so this is from Italy. I don't know which one you mean. Okay, somebody, but it's my group. Okay, forget that. Okay, go on.
In a particular species, like I performed one species, grading this year. So I got, I set one range of temperature, and when I ran the gel, I got all the temperature, I set 4 temperature. In 4 temperature, all are amplified.
That is your professor who was around the PCR, not me. I already told you enough about the PCR.
So, no questions means say, tomorrow Professor Massimo is leaving. Okay. So that's why, because for our days spent here, we have learned a lot from